TikTok, time to rock.
TikTok.
Another audio problem. I hooked up multiple Shure microphones because someone was wrong. It does not require a little soundboard. So I plugged them both in, but echo cancellation would only apply to one of them, so the other would not cancel echo for playing video clips. Anywho, had to plug in this again until I go to the little soundboard method. That'll work.
But none of this is related to Netanyahu.
We gotta talk about Netanyahu, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're talking about Netanyahu. He had a speech to Congress. What was going on? You remember what was going on outside?
Oh yeah, outside they were peaceful protesters who were peacefully protesting outside and saying death to America and death to Israel, and Hamas is coming. You will pay, and praise Hamas for life, and we love Hamas. Death to Israel and America again and again, taking down the American flag, burning the American flag, stomping on it, taking the Israeli flag, which they brought with themselves after paying money for it, probably, setting that on fire. And after taking down the American flag and burning it, they would instead, on government property, raise the so-called Palestinian flag, which is not even an original creation. However, since America is a Western nation, we just let this happen, and nothing was really done in response to this. But yeah, and meanwhile, Netanyahu was speaking in Congress. That's why all of these people were there.
Yeah, it's a similar situation to someone asked during live stream on your channel. David, are you upset and humiliated about the Paris intro? Like, no, I actually like it when people show you what they're thinking, right? They're revealing their true colors on various issues and so on. But it's the same thing with the protesters, right? It's, oh no, we just care about the Palestinians. That's all. That's why we have a problem here. And apart from that, we have no problem. And then you look, and these same guys are, death to the U.S., burn the U.S. flag, death to America, death to Israel, and then spray painting Hamas all over things. And there, it's like, I don't think you guys are just about the well-being of the people of Gaza. I don't think that's the case. I think you have an alternative agenda that kind of makes sense with, the groups you're aligning with, as far as communists and socialists and so on like that, who want to bring, the West to a screeching halt and turn it into a communist hellscape. So anyway, they did a good job of doing that.
Yeah.
They did a good job of showing their true colors.
Yeah, it is actually it is good to see that these people did that so blatantly and so openly, went there and burned the American flag and said death to Israel, death to America. Of course, it would be better to see that the nation and people around the world actually, stand up and see what's happening and call it out and be more active against it. There was a lot of outrage from the Republicans and the rights and conservatives in America, but even then, it was quite limited. It was quite limited. But it's good to see that those people are showing their true colors. Their true colors are shining through.
We see your true colors shining through.
Yeah,
what a great song.
Yeah, we see their true colors shining through, but we don't love them. Yeah.
I do. Just believe some people have to be crushed.
Oh, okay. But I don't love them more than this cow here. This cow, which was gifted to me during the conference by a very nice viewer who gifted me a cow. I would prefer this cow over those protesters.
That cow don't move. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, I have not. Did you watch Netanyahu's speech?
Yes, I listened to the whole thing while I was driving.
Okay, I did not, but I put it into my my editing program, and you can see where there's a long, steady thing. That's the applause. So I went to every play. Oh yeah, I edited this, ladies and gentlemen, because the the clip of Netanyahu's speech was like 55, 56 minutes, but there were all these standing ovations, and there was tons of spots where there was applause. And once I cut those, I didn't want to watch an entire 55-minute video. So anyway, cut out the spots where there was applause and standing ovations, and then it was like 35, 36 minutes. So it's actually, I cut out 20 minutes or so of applause and standing ovations. So don't get upset and say, "Oh, I cut out the applause to pretend that there was no applause." No, I cut it out because it made the video way, 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 way longer.
Yeah, I was listening to it, and I wanted to tweet while I was listening. I wanted to say, guys, I love Israel too, and I respect Netanyahu, but I would rather listen to what the guy has to say than hear people applauding for a while after every second word. It was a bit much.
Let's see. All right, we'll take these first couple super chats real quick, and then we will jump right into this video. It'll be super dope. Flavor Flav and Slash, where AP and David Wood. Don't know.
No idea.
By the way, your catchphrase is "Yeah, boys." Queers for Palestine vid, didn't see them jizya jokes coming. Come on, everyone saw those jokes coming. The goal, by the way, just so everyone knows, the long-term goal of something like that is you eventually want everyone, including Muslims, when they hear the term jizya, you want that sort of thing popping in their heads.
Yeah, I was thinking I should get some silver or gold teeth, but those teeth should be in the shape of the Star of David, like every single one of them.
That would be cool. Yeah. Or get gold teeth all around with little silver stars of David.
Yeah,
across there.
Base.
That's that Jewish bling.
Yeah.
Apostate of Allah says, "I want to start doing live streams. Any advice to get over cringy awkwardness?" No, we have not gotten over it ourselves. We've been doing this for years.
Cringy awkwardness is part of it. That's how you succeed.
Yeah, I would say get started, and you're a pretty new channel, so you're not going to have a ton of people at first. But notice that's the good practice time, right?
Look at these words of encouragement.
It's the good practice time.
Nobody's going to be watching.
They're going to be the worst things anyone has ever seen in their entire lives at first, because you've acknowledged you're shy and cringy and awkward. So it's going to be difficult at first, but you'll get better. It's the same thing as everything on YouTube. You basically got to get started. You got to get started and then just focus on constantly making improvements. So
that's what they do.
That's what they do. Pair character. Oh, that's a super sticker. A pair character, which we can't see, lifting some weight, saying, "Keep it up." So everyone who actually is on YouTube can actually see that, but Ecamm will not allow me to see it. Based. Thank you both again, Israel, Rashida, Israel, heart, Rashida, thumbs down. Just realized could move the money slider. Is that Rashida Tlaib?
Yeah, Rashida was in Congress, and as
what her thing have?
Yeah, she had this thing. It said war criminal on one side, and something else on the other side. But people were joking about how it says war criminal. And
she's holding it. Yeah. So she's the war criminal. What a dope. Oh boy. Just want to show some support to my two personal heroes. You guys paved the way and we will walk it.
Inshallah. Thank you. Appreciate it.
We will. We do come up with awesome ideas that are super we come up with good ideas, man. I don't like BB, to say the least. Ooh, he needed the ego boost he can't get here. He never took responsibility. He and his mates have not yet visited the kibbutzim. We got to this also because of him.
I see what you're saying, and I know that there are lots of people in Israel who really who don't like him, who don't politically agree with him. I would say I wouldn't completely, but some people also, especially after October 7, put the blame on Netanyahu. And you could of course blame him for some of the things that happened.
Yeah, because there were some grave mistakes made, right? In security, something.
But I think I respect what I have been told by some people there who were also part of the party or others, who said right now, what matters is to stand together and to finish this war, and then we can talk about what happened and take care of that.
Yeah, that would be my perspective. Whatever disagreements you have with Netanyahu, he's doing an important job, and he is hunting down Hamas and getting the hostages back. And therefore, yeah, if you got a problem with him afterwards, or whoever's going to be held to account, whether that's him or him and other people, or other people, whoever dropped the ball on security, yeah, we're going to have to deal with that later.
And you're supposed to be. You should be careful around me because I'm personally in charge of finding and beating up people who don't like Netanyahu. So.
Mm-hmm. That's what they pay us for.
Yeah.
Where are my shekels at? I got some shekels around here. So anyway, we'll find the shekels later. Citywide power outage in Paris. One church lit. I did see images of that. It was it's one district of Paris. It's not all of Paris, because other people were posted like, "What do you mean? What are you talking about? This is taking a picture outside my window right now." And what is that?
What in the world is going on here?
What just happened? Did you do that?
No, a bunch of balloons. Probably a new feature.
How did that happen?
I don't know. Somebody did something.
Did people see just balloons randomly go up on my screen?
Yeah, some people did something, and then this happened.
Well, I saw it on the screen. I'm like, what is that coming from? I'm looking around like they're supposed to, like, there are balloons coming from somewhere. Yeah, so that was one area of Paris, but yeah, there's lots of pictures circulating with total blackout in that area, and one church lit up. Pretty dope, I'd say. Applause Congress's version of laugh tracks. Huh.
That's weird.
There were balloons. What caused that?
I don't know. Somebody probably sent balloons or something.
Yeah, but how do you do that? Someone else can send balloons?
It's probably a new function. Yeah, it's probably a new function.
Yeah, but no, but that was in Ecamm, right? Ecamm did that. So whoever did it had access to Ecamm. Ecamm won't even let me see a super sticker. How are they showing me balloons and stuff?
Maybe the YouTube stream takes control of what you see here on the display, and then it happens. I don't know.
Did you do that? Did you do something to make balloons?
I didn't do nothing. Some people did something.
You know, it'd be funny if it never happens again. It was like one time balloons shot up and never see it again. Wouldn't that be funny? I think that'd be
that's
awesome.
the day when AP died. We still don't know the mystery behind it.
Aha, you see? The threat tendo block me. I will recite the Wingeling Shahada and become the Apostate wood, ham, salami, bacon.
Beast.
Don't threaten. Beast. Don't threaten. You see what happened? Beast. Let's see. For my next trick, I will make Dawa disappear. That'd be a good one. Don't worry, ladies and gentlemen. We are making Dawa disappear. It's just a long, grueling process. New Boom Boom Room idea. Muhammad meets the goofy Sufi who mystically reinterprets everything he says. Stop making fun of Sufis, guys. Isn't that funny? It's like a different version of the Paris Olympics mocking Christians, but not Muslims. You guys are going to make fun of the peaceful guys?
Look.
What did you just...
I just looked it up. Apparently there are hand gestures on an Apple device.
That? Whoa! People see that?
Yeah.
What caused the balloons?
Apparently something like this. I don't know. We look ridiculous right now.
Is there a we're sitting there acting like clowns. Someone tuning in, yo, these guys is in all kinds of gangs, man. Flashing all kinds of gang signals. So there's something. Huh. Okay. Well, that's nothing. Weird. That never happened before, so that is a new thing.
That's weird. Anyway.
That is a new thing. All right. Are you looking up what causes these things? Pair character bowing down saying thank you. Yep, thank you for the super sticker. His message says, yo, Ali Dawa got goat's eyes. Why are we attacking people's physical appearances here? Bibi, my love, says, Bibi is my hero. Also, I am Ethiopian, and I am proud of the Ethiopian Jew soldier who ran 8 miles to save Israel. Yeah, matter of fact, he's in this interview. I did see, because when there was applause and it cut away, I did keep those little sections. So there are a couple spots where he pointed to he called someone out in the audience for being a hero, and I actually kept that scene. So I actually saw him, I think it's 3 or 4 people, something like that he drew attention to. But I remember him saying 8 miles. And
8 mile. His palms are
always great to see you, brothers. Yes, indeed. Hey, guys. Hey, Steph. All right, we ready to jump into this video?
Hi, guys. Yes, we are.
Ready to jump into this video?
Yes, we are.
All right. I saw some seconds of the parts that had applause in it. Other than that,
I live off the applause.
Not sure what he's saying, but the man is a famously good speaker.
Well, he has a solid voice.
Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson. Senator Ben Cardin.
What are you laughing at?
Nothing. Continue.
Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer. Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell.
I should have cut this part out too.
Senators, members of Congress, distinguished guests.
Yes, that's me.
Mr. Speaker, I want to thank you for giving me the profound honor of addressing this great citadel of democracy for the 4th time. We meet today.
There was massive applause after that for his 4th time. He's only spoken there 4 times.
Yeah.
Would have thought it was more.
At a crossroads of history. Our world is in upheaval. In the Middle East, Iran's axis of terror confronts America, Israel, and our Arab friends. This is...
Do you know how to use Ecamm?
A little bit.
Why are you clicking on random stuff?
A little bit.
Okay. You're rudely interrupting Mr. Netanyahu. I went back.
Least, Iran's axis of terror confronts America, Israel, and our Arab friends. This is not a clash of civilizations. It's a clash between barbarism and civilization. It's a clash between those who glorify death.
What?
No, agree. Okay,
yeah. No, he's right. That's true.
Yeah, because when I was
those
the civilization
who sanctify life. For the forces of civilization to triumph, America and Israel must stand together because
it's actually not the same without the thunderous applause, right? Because then it would be like, but some of it was like 40 seconds of applause and stuff like that, so I would just chop it all out. Whoa. Wait a minute, we have an applause button here. Hang on. No, it's not the same. He had way cooler applause.
That's the lamest applause I've heard in my life.
That's pretty terrible. That sounds like 5 people in the room.
Yeah.
Yay!
Forced to applause. Yeah.
When we stand together, something very simple happens. We win, they lose. And my friends, I came to assure you today of one thing. We will win. Ladies and gentlemen.
It's kind of rough. It's all this like him talking for 5 seconds and then like 40 seconds of applause. Like I don't want to listen. You and I were both like we don't want to listen to all the applause. It does take away something from it though, because
I should have shown it this song.
December 7th, 1941, and September 11th, 2001.
If someone doesn't know us, they'll be watching this going like, look, they're cutting out the applause to make it sound like no one likes him.
You see, this is the proof that people don't like Netanyahu.
October 7th is a day that will forever live in infamy. It was the Jewish holiday of Simchat Torah. It began as a perfect day, not a cloud in the sky. Thousands of young Israelis were celebrating at an outdoor music festival. And suddenly, at 6:29 a.m., as children were still sleeping soundly in their beds in the towns and kibbutzim next to Gaza, suddenly heaven turned into hell. 3,000 Hamas terrorists stormed into Israel. They butchered 1,200 people from 41 countries, including 39 Americans. Proportionately, compared to our population size, That's like 20 9/11s in one day.
Pause.
That I remember there were objections about that from someone. Who was it? Who complained about that?
I saw a bunch of people who just cut out this part. Some even deliberately, without mentioning, without having the proportionally part, but just him saying, "This is like 20 9/11s." They were like, "How dare he say this? He's disrespecting us in our own Congress. How could he do this?" I'm sorry, but within context, the guy is completely right in this.
Yeah, so they're making it sound like he's saying, 9/11, that's nothing. We went through something way bigger.
Yeah.
And he's talking about proportionally, right? Proportionately. So as far as proportions go, yeah, you had about 3,000 people die on 9/11, but it's in a country of 300 million people.
Yeah.
Israel's way smaller. So killing 1,200 in a much smaller, among a much smaller population is a significantly bigger percentage of the population. So simple point, totally correct. Trying to give people perspective, as shocking as 9/11 was to Americans, having a much smaller country with that many people killed that quickly was much bigger as far as percentages are concerned.
Yeah.
So entirely correct.
Everyone acknowledges that 9/11 was a bad thing, was a terrible thing. He acknowledges that it was a terrible thing. What he's trying to point out here is, as terrible as 9/11 was, think about how terrible it was, how traumatic it was. October 7, to us, proportionally speaking, was even worse than that, considering that we are a tiny nation in comparison, and such a huge number of people died. I think it's even an understatement to say 20 9/11s. It's much more. It's the difference is much higher. So proportionally, many more. So a much higher proportion of Israelis compared to their population died than Americans died on 9/11. This doesn't in any way minimize how terrible 9/11 was. It just shows how terrible October 7 was, to make it clear to everyone.
And it's also different. It's also different in the sense that if you're talking about 9/11, you have a big attack, but then you can kind of gear up, and if the United States is ready, there's not a lot that anyone in the world can do to hurt it. Whereas Israel's kind of surrounded by people who would love to take some shots. So it's kind of a different situation. It would be like, again, I don't know the exact proportions here, but let's say it's 20 times as many people. So let's say 60,000 people had died on 9/11, and we were simultaneously surrounded by people who also want to keep the attacks going and are vowing to keep for more attacks. Be kind of a sucky situation.
Yep, that's what happened.
And these monsters, they raped women, they beheaded men, they burnt babies alive, they killed parents in front of their children, and children in front of their parents. They dragged 255 people, both living and dead, into the dark dungeons of Gaza.
Yeah.
Israel has already brought home
everything that he just mentioned, all the examples. All of this is undoubtedly verified. I have shown footage, only some of it. I haven't even shown much of what I've seen and what I have. Others have shown much of it. You can find most of the stuff online. Some of it you still can't, because Israelis feel very sensitive about it. But you have it all. You even have there is a famous scene from October 7, an infamous scene where these Hamas terrorists actually go in, and there are these kids with their family, with their father. They go in, and after seeing the kids, they shoot the father dead. And while the kids are terrified and shocked, they go in there, go to the fridge, take out a drink in a mocking way, and drink it, and then leave.
135 of these hostages, including 7 who were freed in daring rescue operations. One of those freed hostages, Noor Gamani, is here in the gallery, sitting near my wife, Sarah. On the morning of October 7th.
I'm thinking I should have left the applause in.
Yeah.
I should have left it. Sometimes, guys, you think you have a good idea and you enact your idea, and then you realize, oops, no. So this will be quicker than listening to all the applause. My perspective now is the extra time is worth it, because people were applauding like crazy here.
Mm-hmm.
The entire world saw Noah's look of desperation as she was violently abducted to Gaza on the back of a motorcycle. I met Noah's mother, Leora, a few months ago. She was dying of cancer. She said to me, "Prime Minister, I have one final wish. I wish to hug my daughter Noah one last time before I die." 2 months ago, I authorized a breathtaking commando rescue operation. Our special forces, including a heroic officer named Arnon Zmora, who fell in this battle, rescued Noah and 3 other hostages. I think it's one of the most moving things when Noah was reunited with her mother Leora, and her mother's last wish came true. Noah, we're so thrilled to have you with us today. Thank you. Many hostage families are also here with.
I apologize now, wholeheartedly, for taking out the applause.
Yeah, that should be really.
I wasn't watching it. I was just looking for the spots where there was lots of applause.
Yeah, that was a very important place to applaud. Shame on you, David. But it was my idea to remove it. So. Yeah.
Yep. So, I wouldn't have done that. I wouldn't have done that. But AP said we had to, or he wasn't going to go live talking about this stuff.
Yeah, I said I'm not going to sit there listening to applause. If I wanted to listen to applause, I would watch, I don't know, some weird dancing,
American Idol or something like that. Yeah.
But anyway, that was an important one. But the thing is, the rescue operation, when they rescued Noah on that day and 2 other hostages, it's just so disgusting. There's a very clear display of how the enemies react to anything Israel does to save or protect its own people. Israel went in there with a very precise operation under extremely difficult circumstances with a very short time window to act. Went in there, rescued 3 of the hostages, killed the family that actually held Noah hostage, which was not Hamas fighters, which was a regular family, including a journalist. So a regular civilian family and a journalist, they were keeping Noah hostage. The IDF went in there, rescued them, and got out as quickly as possible. As soon as Hamas caught wind that there is a rescue operation happening, their first action was to try and kill the hostages, and that's what they were trying to do. The IDF saved them. One personnel, one hero there was wounded and died. But the reactions to that, because there was exchange of fire, and Israel has to protect its own military personnel and hostages. They were bombing around it to clear a way for the IDF and the hostages to escape. In the middle of this whole exchange of fire, people died. We don't know who, or if they were civilians or militants. The initial reaction and the first reaction, the strongest reaction to this was, how could Israel do this? How could Israel go in there and kill and risk the lives of innocent civilians? They killed civilians just to save a few people. That was basically the reaction. It is still the reaction that people have, which is why lots of people are saying, and I have been saying the same thing, Israel should not care at this point at all about the call-outs, the emotional responses, and all the nonsense, all the hypocrisy that people direct toward Israel in this war. The other side asked for this war, and the world, it seems, does not really care about the Israeli lives. They only care about the Israeli lives once they are dead. They only care about dead Jews. So it's upon Israel to defend itself and its people, and that's what they should be doing.
We had Malik here saying, D. Wood and AP, did you see the video of a woman inside a mosque in Jaffa where she sat in the preacher's place and threw her cup of coffee there?
I haven't seen that.
No, haven't.
Have not.
Send it to us on Send it to us on Twitter. Here we have Pro Connor. David is a war criminal. He took out the applause.
Yeah.
So I'm the war criminal here, ladies and gentlemen.
That's literally genocide. That's the definition, by the way.
I'm never listening to you again, man. Any idea you have, I'm automatically going to... Hey, you've got this Nabil guy here. Nabil Hantuli, he keeps saying everything's a lie.
Find a new
everything's
name.
a lie.
Find the new name.
Yeah. He's saying everything we're saying is lying. So, but you're pointing out this is the stuff that's been verified, right?
Yeah, all of it.
Israel, I'm trying to think of who would be better. I'm guessing American special forces can pull off the same thing. But as far as like rescue missions, Israel's rescue missions are like legend status. What was that one when Idi Amin had all those Jewish hostages in Africa, and they and they had them in the terminal. They had all the people in the terminal, and they're waiting up. So,
Rayon and Entebbe.
Yeah, landed a plane silently without lights in the dark. Landed a plane loaded up with commandos. Stormed the place, saved them all, got them all out of there on the plane, took right back off.
That was a raid on Entebbe. And that's where Benjamin Netanyahu's brother was part of the operation, and he died.
That was legend status right there, man.
And guess what happened?
Well,
the world condemned it.
Shame on you for landing a plane and getting your hostages back.
Guess what happened when Israel took out the founder of Hamas, who came up with who was in charge of all the we will kill the Jews and not leave a single one of them and so on.
It was shame on them.
Yeah. Well, the world condemned it.
Powerful stuff. All right, Nabil. No, you stop lying. See how easy that was? Duh, anyone can say it. Stop lying. We know you worship a God who brags about being the best of deceivers.
Yeah.
And a prophet who said war is deceit and everything's about lying. And so you're raised on that stuff and you think, well, all the Dawa guys lie and it's fine. So obviously these people lie too. No, that's your religion, not everyone else's. Nice trash.
Today, including Eliyahu Bibas. Eliyahu Bibas
is this the guy?
Is the grandfather of those two beautiful red-headed boys, the Bibas boys, toddlers. And they were taken hostage with their mother and Eliyahu's son. The entire family was taken hostage. Two beautiful red-haired children taken hostage. What monsters.
Jewish.
And with us also is Iris Chaim, whose son Yotam bravely escaped Hamas captivity with two other Israelis, and tragically they were killed making their way back to our lines. We have with us also the families of American hostages. They're here. The pain these families have endured is beyond words. I met with them again yesterday, and I promised them this: I will not rest until all their loved ones are home, all of them. As we speak, we're actively engaged in intensive efforts to secure their release, and I'm confident that these efforts can succeed. Some of them are taking place right now. I want to thank President Biden for his tireless efforts on behalf of the hostages.
We got to stop and have some actual applause for President Biden here.
Yeah. This is where the whole room stood up and everyone went, Biden, Biden,
Biden, Biden, 2024, 2024 or 2020, depending on when he thinks it is.
Biden helped Israel. Biden destroyed Hamas. That's what everyone said.
No, Netanyahu's cool. He'll give credit wherever it's due. So he'll thank Biden for the things that Biden did to help. He'll thank later on. He thanks Trump for the things that Trump did to help. He thanks people on all sides of the issues who were doing anything to help. So that's cool.
Biden was he was instrumental in helping the president of Mexico to fight with Hamas.
There are people who don't know what you're talking about. So you're like, what's he talking about? Yeah, Biden gets a, let's just say, if for those of you who aren't familiar, haven't watched his speech, sometimes he's a little confused. And I don't criticize him for that. I've said 1,000 times, I don't criticize him for that. If I make it to that being that old, I'm going to have the same issues right there. So I do have a problem with the people around him who keep propping him up and telling him he's fine and so on. So that was my issue. That, I'm going to be like, if I live long enough, I'm going to be like that. If I get there, don't put me in charge of stuff. Definitely not in charge of like nuclear codes and stuff.
I will not get like that.
I'm being consistent here, ladies and gentlemen.
And for his efforts to the hostage families as well. I thank President Biden for his heartfelt support for Israel after the savage attack on October 7th. He rightly called Hamas sheer evil. He dispatched 2 aircraft carriers to the Middle East to deter a wider war. And he came to Israel to stand with us during our darkest hour, a visit that will never be forgotten. President Biden and I have known each other for over 40 years. I want to thank him for half a century of friendship to Israel and for being, as he says, a proud Zionist. Actually, he says a proud Irish-American Zionist. With us today is Lieutenant Avichai.
It just sounds like this part here where he emphasizes how Biden is a friend of Israel and he's a proud Zionist, and we've always known each other and he always loved and helped Israel. This sounds like it sounds a little bit like a strategic move to reassure or to remind those who stand with the Democratic Party and with Biden and say we're against Israel, to remind them, hey, your guy, he is our friend. He actually supports us. So
I got the same thing too. Something along the lines of, and without Joe Biden, we would have lost. Palestine would have indeed been free. They would have taken over if it weren't for Joe Biden and the loyalty, the undying loyalty to Israel of the entire Democratic Party. That'd be awesome. Let's see a couple super. Hey, I didn't see this one from Isa. It's always great to see you, brothers. Yes,
Thank you.
indeed.
Appreciate
Yeah, we'll get Isa back on. Everyone likes Isa, except the people who still call him Goofy Sufi.
Yeah, who would say that, man?
Bunch of rude people. Steph says, "Hey guys, hey Steph."
Steffi.
Mirza, I had not thought about this. Mirza Ghulam Ahmed in the boom boom room. See, here's the thing. We just had a debate with some Ahmadis. Historically, I haven't criticized the Ahmadis a lot because they're a persecuted minority, right? You can read stories about them being attacked and slaughtered in the name of Allah for having the wrong ideas about Islam and so on. So, I generally go after the oppressors and not the oppressed. But these guys are what we're talking about as far as entire nations. What we were talking about in your show, like Turkey and all these guys trying to impress the world and show that they're the new strong ones. Ahmadis are going through a similar phase right now. It looks, trying to show, no, we're the guys who will take on the kuffar and so on. It's like, all right, maybe we will have Mirza Ghulam Ahmed in the boom boom room. I got a sheet. That's all you need for the costume. Wrap it around your head. That's how you roll.
Some major Muslim account actually sent me a private message the other day, which is very surprising. Sent me a private message and sent me a screenshot of the thumbnail that you made for our reaction video, where you put both you and me in the same turban that Mirza Ghulam Ahmed had, and said to me, "I have been laughing about this for an hour or so."
That's funny. By the way, little side note, those are some of my favorite comments I get. Like my favorite comments are my favorite comments I get from people are, "Hey, I left Islam. I'm a Christian now." Those kinds of things. But probably my second favorite kind of comment is, "Hey, I'm a Muslim, but this is hilarious." Right? I love those.
Yeah, beast.
But yeah, Mirza Ghulam Ahmed, I do believe we will be seeing him in the boom boom room. Lol, what balloons? Good to catch y'all live. AP, loved your post on the top 10 terrorist orgs in the world. Yeah,
it was very Islamophobic.
It was really mean. You're ruining inclusivity and diversity. Man, y'all so stylish today. Gangstas from 2 different centuries. Yeah, I do. I never thought about it until I was saying it. When I put this on, I was like, it looks too high. And then I was thinking, it was on AP's a little while ago. I was thinking, a bowler hat would be cooler. I might get a bowler hat. We should both get, We should both get bowler hats, and we'll call ourselves the Bowler Brothers. With the Bowler Brothers on the Screaming Goats podcast. It's all about branding, man. Right? You see this, like Abraham Lincoln just looked kind of like a regular dude. He was a little weird looking and stuff like that when he was shaving and stuff. And I think it was some girl who said he looked more distinguished with a beard. He grew out his beard and then put the stovepipe hat on, and all of a sudden you know who that dude is everywhere. It's branding, man. Branding.
Worst idea I've ever heard in my life.
Bowler Brothers.
Yeah.
The Bowler Brothers.
But I acknowledge it.
Someone must have already come up with the name Bowler Brothers, right? That has to be like a group of villains or a gang or something like that in some.
Probably.
I have to know. Bowler Brothers. But what if they're actually like bowlers? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No, it asked me if I mean Howler Brothers. No, I see no. Oh no, there's a brewery called the Bowler Brothers.
Base. Let's buy that brewery.
And we can drink Bowler Brothers brew. Awesome.
Bowler Brothers brewery beer.
Video game controller poses triumphantly in between the words critical hit.
Based.
Oh, it's a super sticker. I was like, what's this person mean?
Yeah.
Based. Hey, we have raisin bread, not raisin head. That's what Muhammad called Ethiopians, but raisin bread.
I wonder if I can get the thumbs up thing done because my thumb is so. Look, it goes like.
Oh,
look.
Wait, how did it do it for you, but not for me?
Well, it did it for
Maybe
you.
I'm facing the right direction.
It
It did it for you? Do it.
Who was it?
Do it.
Who was it?
Do it.
You see, I have this crooked finger. Oh, you
There
like
it went.
Based.
I have I'm double jointed here. I can do that. See that?
We just figured out a new thing to play with, so.
We got to find out all those things. I'll use that. That's kind of cool. I do think I'm going to accidentally set off things at certain points. Boo! 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 Boo!
Nope, nothing.
Not working.
No, anyway.
Let's see. Someone here says Muslims lie about Islam to loser Americans, or you mean Latin Americans, in order to gain sympathy from them. Leftist Americans. Many leftist Americans end up marrying these Muslims, and now they are stuck. And then there was a follow-up. There's a two. It'd be good to see these Islam content could be translated to Spanish. Oh, maybe he was talking about Spanish and Portuguese languages, so people from Latin America. See, we thought you were talking about leftists. Now we're thinking Latin American backgrounds would understand the truth about Islam and save themselves from it. Yeah, guys, I've been saying that for years, that now there's tons and tons of content in English. There needs to be more content in other languages. So if you are thinking about doing YouTube, thinking about making content, and you are fluent in multiple languages, like if you are fluent in English and Spanish, start making some content in Spanish. In fact, I dare say you could take anything we say that you like, translate it. You don't need to give us credit. Just make a video saying the same thing in your language and let it take off. But yes, there is a need in other countries. We've talked before about the Dawah guys focusing on looking for people that still don't know the Dawah script and still don't know how to get That's their obsession right now. Scouring the world, finding anyone who doesn't know about Islam. And so they're going to be targeting people in languages where there's not a lot of responses available. So you want to take that advantage away from them because,
As Donald Trump said, you can do anything. If you're a star, they'll let you do anything. So just keep that in mind. If you set your mind to it and you're a star, you can do anything.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
I'm sorry for reminding people.
Hey, here's Lloyd. He says, you guys ever heard of a comedian called Nicholas DeSantos? He's really good, and his jokes about Islam are top tier. His sets are on YouTube.
Who?
I don't remember people's names. We're not going to watch stuff right now.
Nicholas DeSantos.
It may be a situation where I don't know the name, but if I saw him, I'd be like, oh, yeah, I know that guy.
Oh, I heard of him. He was propped up a while ago as like this politically incorrect comedian.
Yeah. His videos that pop up are called like Religion of Peace and stuff.
I listened to one of them, but I didn't laugh a single time. So maybe I just need to try again.
Yeah. Maybe AP's too far left to endure any of this sort of thing.
Maybe it's because I'm a racist, though.
That's true. That's a better explanation, and it fits the facts better. Do one more and we'll jump back into the video. Tate made a video on Christians should stand up against Olympics attacking Christianity. D Wood, we need a stream to defend our Christian faith against woke. Oh yeah, I definitely take my advice from Andrew Tate.
Now that Andrew Tate called us out, we have to quickly do something. We have to do something. Otherwise, Andrew Tate will be right, and he will call us out again.
Not Andrew. I mean, I'm not anyone's boss here, so I don't call the shots for nations or Christians or anything else. But there is a part of me that says, let things run their course until people are absolutely begging for help. What I mean here is it's a similar situation with like the United States, right? Like the United States is kind of like world police for a while. They even made a movie, Team America, World Police.
Beast.
So America's going around just dropping bombs on people for various stuff, letting bad guys know, hey, this sort of thing won't be tolerated. But lots of people around the world started hating the United States for that, right? Like, hey, you guys come over here, you bomb stuff, what the heck, right? And so people complain, and that can make sense. That can make sense. Here's the issue. People can come to really, really despise the United States and like, hey, just can't you just stay back there and mind your own business? And that's where the difficult spot comes in, because even if you don't like the United States and various things it's done, the United States was protecting a lot of people from some very bad things. In other words, there are places in the world that really want to take over the world. And the United States had a lot of groups in a state of fear, right? Like, hey, we can't do this now because the United States will bomb us. If the United States says, hey, we're out of this, guess what? Those groups are all of a sudden gonna jump up and start trying to take over the world. I mean, you've seen it. You've seen a lot of groups over the past couple of years sort of sensing weakness and wait, now's the time when we can kind of jump into something. Russia wants to expand. It does. It's just built into the system. They haven't in recent decades as much as they would like to, because they're worried about, repercussions and so on. So Islam wants to take over. China would love to expand in various ways. And you had a lot of people not realizing that the United States, whatever you agree or disagree about, they are keeping a lot of groups who want to take you down at bay. And so it's kind of like that with lots of other things. You had police in the U.S. where, like, I'm not the biggest fan of cops. Once you've seen cops do some really messed up stuff, you end up as not a big fan of cops. But once you start saying abolish the police or something like that, or defund the police, like, wait a minute, those police are also doing important things, right? They're also keeping a lot of criminals in check and so on. So even if you have bad experience, if you've seen them do some messed up stuff, they are performing a valuable function. If you just say, hey, let's get rid of them, you got some problems here. So anyway, what we're talking about right now, Christians for over a century. My goodness, just shut up, Christians. Stop preaching. Stop acting like you know things. Just go to your church and mind your own business. And now I'm seeing more and more Christians. You need to stand up against this stuff. Please jump. And I don't mean just from Christians. I mean from their atheists and agnostics and everything else saying, Christians, will you jump up and do something about this? And there's a part of me that says, no, you wanted it. Let's sit back and let this play out for another couple decades. And then you can come back. You see, because what people seem to want is, Christians, we want you to react against the things that we don't like. And things that we like, then don't react against those. And so they want the loyalty of the Christian community to be to them and not to Jesus and so on. And so it's kind of, well, it doesn't work like that. So if you want some really strong, muscular Christians out there, okay, but they're also going to, if you're a non-Christian, those Christians are also going to say things you don't like.
Hey, what's funny? The other day, speaking of police, I was walking around, and for some reason, I don't know, this never happens, but for some reason, after walking around sweaty with my phone in my pocket for a while, I took out my phone and it says, after emergency calls, do this and this and this. And I'm like, what is happening? And I'm checking and it says notification, emergency location request, missed call from police department. And I'm like, what is going on? So I checked my outgoing calls, and apparently somehow I butt dialed the police, and which never happened to me. And then I thought, wait a minute, should I should I call them? Should I say everything is okay? Then they called me and I said, hey, and they said, oh, it's just you, AP. We just wanted to check. So
Nice.
yeah.
No, we're good. Let's see. D. Wood could have just used the speed option, cut it to 25 minutes instead of all. He did not say one thing that should make people upset. What?
Alhamdulillah.
Cut it to 25 minutes. He would be speaking really, really fast.
That's a powerful comment. Hey, this idiot Nabil in the chat just said, listen to Scott Ritter and his videos on Israel. I knew about Scott Ritter, but the thing is, look at this. Scott Ritter is an American author, former United States Marine Corps intelligence officer, former United Nations Special Commission, weapons inspector, and convicted child sex offender.
Oh, yeah. No wonder our Muslim friends love this guy. He's just like our prophet.
Sex
He likes to molest little kids.
Unlawful contact with a minor, corruption of minors, indecent exposure, convicted and sentenced.
See, those are the guys you need to pay attention to. It's just like just like listening to our prophet.
And I don't want to say, it's a sex offender, who's into minors, that therefore we shouldn't listen to them. But isn't it interesting that the first person that this guy brings up, this Islamist, is another child?
Hey, Nabil Hantuli, why are you trying to get everyone to pay more attention to sex offenders?
Alhamdulillah.
We got a song around here. Ain't gonna follow no child molester, prophet pretender, sex offender. We got that song, man.
Yeah.
Don't make us use it.
Alhamdulillah.
Oh, let's see. All right, let's get back to this.
Reuven. Avichai.
Hey, wait, is that the Ethiopian dude? I know he mentioned 4 heroes.
Irish American Zionists. With us today is Lieutenant Avichai Reuven. Avichai is an officer in the Israeli paratroopers. His family immigrated to Israel from Ethiopia. In the early hours of October 7th, Avichai heard the news of Hamas's bloody rampage. He put on his uniform, grabbed his rifle, but he didn't have a car. So he ran 8 miles to the front lines of Gaza to defend his people. You heard that right? He ran 8 miles, came to the front lines, killed many terrorists, and saved many, many lives.
That's a cool dude right there.
Yeah.
Because it would have been very easy. Like, I got no ride, man. I'll just chill here in case the fighting comes to me. Wrong. This dude took off running 8 miles. 8 miles.
Ethiopian Israeli, about whom people make up a lot of lies, but there are so many Ethiopian Israelis serving in the military, holding important positions, being commanders. I know one personally, and so on. It's just it's great to see. But I imagine as he was running those 8 miles, there was the music playing, Lose Yourself.
I was just thinking they should make a movie about this guy, call it 8 Mile.
Yeah.
That'd be dope.
Yeah.
Hey, I bet Eminem would do the soundtrack.
Yeah.
We all honor your remarkable heroism. Another Israeli is with us here today, and he's stand up right next to Avichai.
Yeah, stand up.
This is Master Sergeant Ashraf al-Bakhiri. Ashraf is a Bedouin soldier from the Israeli Muslim community of Raat.
Muslim.
On October 7th, Ashraf too killed many terrorists. First, he defended his comrades in the military base, and he then rushed to defend the neighboring communities, including the devastated community of Kibbutz Be'eri.
Look,
like Ashraf.
This is an instance where they gathered heroes that are loved for what they have done on October 7, that are of a different background, that are not just regular Ashkenazi or Sephardic Jewish or whatever it is. They are Muslims. They are Ethiopian. I think there was a Druze or something. But so this is one of those instances where doing that, we're bringing those people here and pointing them out is totally justified, because there are lots of leftist people in America and around the world who have this very extremely embarrassingly delusional picture of Israel, that Israel is this white colonizer place where all of the others, especially the non-Jews, they're oppressed and they're treated like second-class citizens. In fact, they can't walk across the street. They're shot and searched and this and that, which is just so absolutely insane because it has nothing at all to do with reality. Yep. So it is probably important for them to do this and to show these people. Of course, people who don't want to acknowledge the truth will still, uphold their skepticism and their cynicism at this point, maybe. But at least it's worth a try, because this is what Israel is. Israel is a very diverse country that is very, very far detached from this dumb idea that is often presented in the West by leftists.
Yeah, and that is stuff that's important to emphasize. A couple days ago, I posted a poll. I did them a day apart. And one, I said, if a Hamas jihadi could push a button that would kill every Jew on the planet, would he push it? And it was something like 97% of people said yes, he would. So people in general seem to have an idea of what Hamas is about. The next day, I posted the same thing. I said, if an IDF soldier could push a button that would kill every Muslim on the planet, would he push it? Which I thought was like obviously no. But about a little over a third of people said yes. Right? So you had some groypers coming in there. They were doing it. But there were also people who were saying, no, they're so fed up with Islam, they would just do it. And some people were saying, and they should do it. So that was like, I'm like, gosh, you're talking every single Muslim? Guys, they're Muslims who there are Muslims who don't want anything like Hamas for you, right? There are plenty of Muslims who are like that. But anyway, but this is the issue, right? And you're talking about this guy in the IDF protecting the Muslim community in the IDF. There are Muslims in the IDF, and there are millions of Muslims in Israel. So that's the IDF is protecting Muslims, and there are Muslims in the IDF who are protecting not just Jews, not just Christians, not just atheists, but also Muslims. I suppose you could have an IDF soldier who's just like fed up with just let's end this scourge if he had access to a button. But to think that like a randomly selected IDF soldier would want to kill even his fellow IDF Muslims in the IDF or Muslims in the population who aren't attacking anyone or something like that is pretty absurd.
The funny thing is also that Arabs are practically exempt from military service in Israel. It's not law, but the military has had this attitude based on Arab behaviors from long in the past, where they said, okay, you guys don't have to serve. Jews, Israeli Jews, and even Druze Israelis, they do serve. Muslims don't. Arabs in general don't have the it's not compulsory for them. So those who do are doing it because they really want to, not because they have to.
Take a couple super chats here. Y'all said something about looking at Dante's Inferno and something about Islam. I forgot exactly the topic, but I thought that'd be an interesting talk. Well, yeah, Muhammad's down at he's towards the bottom of hell there.
He burning.
I don't remember what we were talking about though. If we were talking about that.
He burning.
Emil says, D. Wood's thoughts on the term Theotokos? Not much. Not my area. So that's.
I like tacos.
That's. Talk about Mother of God stuff, man.
Oh,
yeah. If you're talking about in the sense of Mary as the mother of who gave birth to the incarnate Christ or something like that, have no problem. If you're exalting her to somehow beyond that, then I would want to know what your defense is. But it's guys, it's not a lot. It's not something I think about a lot. David, it's called Operation. This is what you were talking about. Entebbe. What's that called?
Entebbe.
Netanyahu's older brother was killed in the operation.
Yeah, that's what I said.
So I would guess that the Netanyahu family has an affinity for these awesome rescue operations.
Alhamdulillah.
Isn't that like the coolest thing in the world?
Yeah.
No, I mean like if your job was like rescue mission.
Yeah.
That was like to start a predator. They're like, hey, we want you to. Hey, why'd you turn that? He says, why'd you turn down that job? And he goes, we're a rescue team, not assassins. So they liked actually going and rescuing people. They didn't like going and doing other things as a military unit.
That's what they do.
Eli says, love you both. I miss you. Nice shirt, AP. I'd like to curb your anti-Semitism.
My wife got this for me because she knows I really like Curb Your Enthusiasm, and would like this too. So that's
a pretty good shirt.
Yeah.
Pretty good. Hamas posted own footage committing atrocities. Yeah, you got Muslims. Prove this. It's all lies. They're literally posting their own footage of them doing it. Keep up the good work, you two. We will Joe Biden in the boom boom room. Not going to happen, ladies and gentlemen. He's on his way out. If Kamala actually wins, wouldn't mind doing that. Maybe with me playing Kamala Harris.
You know what? I think I showed you, but there's this woman who is doing a Kamala Harris impression now, and she's really getting traction because she's doing it really well.
Oh no, I've seen that. Yeah, it was Elon shared one of those.
Yeah.
It sounded totally authentic. I thought it was like AI. I thought it was something AI.
She does the cackling that Kamala does randomly, and all that very, very well. I think her Twitter handle is mommy RN8 something like that. I don't know. Yeah, that's what they do.
And here, look up Leon Russell. Look up Leon Russell. Oh.
Who this?
Oh, yeah, funny. Yeah. So anyway, this guy wears a top hat like that. Okay, that's funny.
He's a magician.
Wait, he's there in a different hat. Did he convert to Islam or something?
Maybe.
Unless he's just rocking a cool hat.
He's a magician.
Just rocking a cool hat.
It's his American magician in some way.
All right. Back to BB here.
The Muslim soldiers of the IDF fought alongside their Jewish, Druze, Christian, and other comrades in arms with tremendous bravery.
Take that, Rashida.
A third hero, Lieutenant Asa Sofer, is also here with us. Asa fought as an officer in the Tank Corps, and he was wounded in battle. He was wounded in battle while protecting his fellow soldiers from a grenade. He lost his right arm and the vision in his left eye. He's recovering, and incredibly, within a short time, Asa will soon return to active duty as a commander of a tank company. I just learned there is a fourth hero here, Lieutenant.
That's pretty hardcore.
It is,
and that kind of shows. We saw that when like the what was it, induction ceremony or something like that, and we were there by the Western Wall and stuff like that, and like all these guys signing up to join the IDF, and it's like, yeah, all you guys who thought you're just going to demoralize Israel or something like that, I don't think so. They seem pretty intent on protecting their people here. Yeah.
Jonathan Ben Chamo, who lost a leg in Gaza and continued to fight. My friend.
He took his leg and he started beating the Hamas jihadis with it. It was actually, that was a King of the Hill episode where Cotton Hill says his legs got blown off and then he still kept fighting and stuff like that. Anyway, there's a real guy who did that.
If my leg was blown off and there was a Hamas dude in front of me, I would... Anyway, continue.
I'm guessing it's a situation like your leg gets blown off, you put a tourniquet on there, seal it off, but you got a gun there, you can still keep shooting.
You could put that in, yeah.
Friends, these are the soldiers of Israel, unbowed, undaunted, unafraid. As the Bible says, Am kelavi yakum. They shall rise like lions. They have risen like lions. The lions of Judah, the lions of Israel. Ladies and gentlemen, the men and women of the IDF come from every corner of Israeli society, every ethnicity, every color, every creed.
It is good that he's really emphasizing this, right? Because this Congress. So you had the left and the right here, and he's making sure they have all heard basically a full case here. Very smart. Whatever else you want to say, you can't say this guy is not very smart and a very good communicator here.
Left and right, religious and secular, all are imbued with the indomitable spirit of the Maccabees, the legendary Jewish warriors of antiquity. With us today is Yechiel Leiter, the father of one of those Maccabees. Yechiel's father escaped the Holocaust and found refuge in America. As a young man, Yechiel moved to Israel and raised a family of 8 children. He named his eldest son, Moshe, after his late father. Moshe became an exemplary officer in one of our elite commando units. He served with distinction for 2 decades, while raising 6 beautiful children of his own. On October 7th, Moshe volunteered to return to combat. 4 weeks later, he was killed when a booby-trapped mine exploded in a tunnel shaft right next to a mosque. At his son's funeral, Yechiel said this: "If the state of Israel had not been established after the Holocaust, the image engraved in our collective memory would have been the photograph of that helpless Jewish boy in the Warsaw Ghetto holding his hands up in the air with Nazi rifles pointed at him. But because of the birth of Israel," Yechiel continued, "because of the courage of soldiers like my son Moshe, the Jewish people are no longer helpless in the face of our enemies." Yechiel, please rise so we can honor your son's sacrifice. And I pledge to you and to all the bereaved families of Israel, some of whom are in this hall today, the sacrifice of your loved ones will not be in vain. It will not.
There is something important for you to take note of there. Like some people have something to fight for that lasts. And you're just like, no, I would just defend agnosticism. That's not going to last, man. It's not going to last.
Not be in vain, because for Israel, never again must never be an empty promise. It must always remain a sacred vow. And after October 7th, never again is now. My friends, defeating our brutal enemies requires both courage and clarity. Clarity begins by knowing the difference between good and evil. Yet incredibly, many anti-Israel protesters, many choose to stand with evil. Mm-hmm. They stand with Hamas.
Dude, isn't that funny? He's in there saying, there are people who are actually choosing to stand with Hamas. Meanwhile, those protesters are outside spray painting Hamas all over like national monuments and stuff. Yeah. Isn't that nuts? Like he's saying it. You think, no, come on, man. Who's supporting Hamas? You're crazy. And they're literally outside spray painting Hamas on things.
Yeah, not these guys. Don't look over there. Don't look over there. But who is really supporting Hamas?
Yeah, not these guys who are spray painting Hamas everywhere.
They stand with rapists and murderers. They stand with people who came into the kibbutzim, into a home. The parents hid the children, the 2 babies, in the attic, in a secret attic. They murdered the families, the parents. They found the secret latch to the hidden attic, and then they murder the babies. These protesters stand with them. They should be ashamed of themselves. They refuse to make the simple distinction between those who target terrorists and those who target civilians, between the democratic state of Israel and the terrorist thugs of Hamas.
What? You've got on the one hand, you got Rashida Tlaib and all these. I'm glad they're not like heckling or something like that. But like, how do you still hold up this? How do you still hold the position once you've actually heard? There's a difference. There's a very simple point. There's a difference between people who target civilians and people who don't, and especially when you have some who will hide behind civilians and are deliberately trying to maximize civilian casualties and so on. Like, how do you side with the Hamas side? It's just nuts.
She supports Hamas and she's not afraid. of that becoming public knowledge and being repeated about her. She does support Hamas. She supports Palestinian terrorism. She supports anti-Semitism. She supports all of these things. She stands with the ones who actually attack and kill civilians. She knows what happened. She has probably seen the videos. She has probably seen the evidence that we all saw. And there is no way that anyone can possibly deny this after seeing the footage, because Hamas themselves attached GoPros to themselves and filmed it. We saw videos where they literally walk into the kibbutzim, which are residential communities. They walk in there, go from house to house, and shoot whomever they see on site. And once they can find anyone else, they set the house on fire, knowing that they could be hiding up there or in a safe room. Let's just set it on fire. We don't care. People died that way. What exactly were they doing in these residential places? What exactly were they doing? Shooting at an elderly man whose shadow they saw inside the house. We have that on camera. I showed it. I can show it again 1,000 times. Those who want to deny it at this point, they don't deny it because they deny Hamas atrocities. They deny it because they don't care about Jewish lives. They don't care about the other people's lives, because they think it is justified to kill Jews in order to serve the purpose of these terrorists, Hamas. And if you support Hamas at this point, you are a terrorist. And I think in my ideal world, you would be treated as such.
So we visited one of the places, and that's what you recognize. One, it's like a small community. You have a certain number of residences. It's clear these are just civilian residences, right? These are just ordinary people. There's like kids' toys all over and stuff, and the walls are all just covered in bullet holes and stuff. So these were people just unloading on just civilians, anyone they could find. And guys, there's a big difference between someone who's going after soldiers to fight soldiers and so on, and someone who's just unloading machine guns on men, women, and children.
Yeah.
We recently learned from the National Security U.S. Director of National Intelligence, that Iran is funding and promoting anti-Israel protests in America. They want to disrupt America.
Oh, that is interesting. Like there are the videos of these protesters being brought in on buses and stuff. Mm-hmm. I did not know what he just said. He said Iran is actually doing. There's evidence that Iran is actually funding these things.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff about Iran. The security service informed the different branches that they have credible information that Iran was planning an assassination attempt on Trump, but I think they still have not found a direct link between the assassination attempt that we had and Iran, and also Iran, of course, funding and supporting these protests. It's not hard to believe, right? They are directly in charge of Hezbollah, the Houthis, and now also Hamas.
There's a question about your shirt here. Let's go through these two right quick before we get to it. I speak broken Gringo Spanish and a little biblical Hebrew and Greek. Maybe I'll translate your videos and be known for horribly mangling the languages while insulting Islam. That's a
good idea.
You can do that.
Yeah.
That would be funny. Like one of the most effective ways to get information across on YouTube is called infotainment. So have it funny. So you can actually do that. So I can do tag along with your content. Awesome, because South Philippines is strongly Muslim. Yes, you absolutely can.
Yes.
And let's see. Okay, here's the question for you. Where did you buy that shirt?
Babette. I honestly have no idea.
Where? Because someone.
I think my wife bought it.
So it's something you could probably search for. Curb Your Anti-Semitism shirt.
Yeah, she might have just gotten it from Amazon. I don't know. Honestly, don't know.
My favorite exposure therapist. Boop. Remember that? Remember? Boop. 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 I need to make a compilation of that.
So these protesters burn American flags even on the 4th of July.
And they were outside.
And I wish to salute the fraternity brothers at the University of North Carolina who protected the American flag against these anti-Israel protesters. For all we know, Iran is funding the anti-Israel protests that are going on right now outside this building. Not that many, but they're there, and throughout the city. Well, I have a message for these protesters. When the tyrants of Tehran, who hang gays from cranes and murder women for not covering their hair, are praising, promoting, and funding you, you have officially become Iran's useful idiots. Some of these protesters...
Burn!
Yeah.
It's amazing, absolutely amazing. Some of these protesters hold up signs proclaiming gays for Gaza. They might as well hold up signs saying chickens for KFC.
He stole our
These
joke.
protesters chant from the river.
I definitely should have left the applause in for that one.
I couldn't believe when he said it. I was listening to it live. I couldn't believe he actually said that in
That's funny.
Congress. Man.
Let's see. Backed it up a little bit.
Up signs saying chickens for KFC. These protesters chant from the river to the sea, but many don't have a clue what river and what sea they're talking about. They not only get an F in geography, they get an F in history. They call Israel a colonialist state. Don't they know that the land of Israel is where Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob prayed, where Isaiah and Jeremiah preached, and where David and Solomon ruled? For nearly 4,000 years, the land of Israel has been the homeland of the Jewish people. It's always been our home. It will always be our home. It's not only the campus protesters who get it wrong. It's also the people who run those campuses. 80 years after the Holocaust, the presidents of Harvard, Penn, and I'm ashamed to say my alma mater, MIT, couldn't bring themselves to condemn the calls for the genocide of Jews. You remember what they said?
Depends on the context.
They said, it depends on the context.
Yeah.
Well, let me give these befuddled academics a little context. Anti-Semitism is the world's oldest hatred.
You see, he's watching.
For centuries, the massacre of Jews was always preceded by wild accusations. We were accused of everything from poisoning wells, to spreading plagues, to using the blood of slaughtered children to bake Passover matzahs. These preposterous anti-Semitic lies led to persecution, mass murder, and ultimately to history's worst genocide, the Holocaust. Now, just as malicious lies were leveled for centuries at the Jewish people, malicious lies are now being leveled at the Jewish state.
I am noticing a pattern here.
Me too. What pattern?
We're seeing a pattern here. People like to lie about Jews.
Yeah. There is this one aspect of when people talk about blood libel. This is what we usually talk about. This is what it's usually meant. What he just mentioned about allegations or accusations that Jews would kidnap or kill non-Jews and then use their blood in baking matzah. Matzah is the little bread thing, dish, whatever you call it, that is prepared during Passover. Seriously, I think it started as early as like 1,000 years ago. There were these rumors that they were actually kidnapping children and using their blood to bake matzah. And I don't know if it has anything to do with the fact that it kind of looks like, slightly red and slightly burnt all over the place. People have very, very wild imaginations. But the thing is, as absurd and insane as it sounds, and they actually did kick out or just kill Jewish communities throughout history based on such ridiculous accusations. You have similar accusations and you have similar libels nowadays about Israel and about Jews, and people actually buy it and run with it. You even have people who come into our comment section and who still spread dumb stuff like that. People are really insanely obsessed with Jews.
Like the Groypers?
Yeah, the gropers.
The Gropers.
Yeah. Stop groping people.
And it's funny because you'll have these guys who like mock Muslims and so on, but they'll gladly unite with like Suleiman Ahmed and so on to do something.
Uh-huh.
And they'll meet with the They met with the former Grand Wizard of the KKK. It's amazing, man. It's amazing. So there are all kinds of people who are completely willing to rally around the cause of hating and exterminating Jews. It's true.
No, don't applaud. Listen. The outrageous slanders that paint Israel as racist and genocidal are meant to delegitimize Israel, to demonize the Jewish state, and to demonize Jews everywhere. And no wonder we've witnessed an appalling rise of anti-Semitism in America and around the world. My friends, whenever and wherever we see the scourge of anti-Semitism, we must unequivocally condemn it and resolutely fight it, without exception. And don't be fooled when the blood libels against the Jewish state come from people who wear fancy silk robes and speak in lofty tones about law and justice.
Law and order.
Here's a case in point. The prosecutor of the International Criminal Court has shamefully accused Israel of deliberately starving the people of Gaza. This is utter, complete nonsense. It's a complete...
Yeah, aren't there like an endless array of food trucks constantly going in there?
Yeah. Imagine it. So Israel is accused of deliberately starving the population of Gaza, but the Israeli army, together with other organizations, is constantly busy allowing and marking routes for aid to go into Gaza. This is what the state of Israel spends a lot of time on, and a lot of resources on. As allegedly, we are both told that Israel is indiscriminately killing the Palestinian or Gazan population. On the other hand, so much of their resources and their time is spent on creating safe zones and sending in aid.
Fabrication. Israel has enabled more than 40,000 aid trucks to enter Gaza. That's 500,000 tons of food. And that's more than 3,000 calories for every man, woman, and child in Gaza. If there are Palestinians in Gaza who aren't getting enough food, it's not because Israel is blocking it, it's because Hamas is stealing it.
So 3,000 calories a day is, if you took all the population and the food that has gone in, it's enough for every person there in Gaza to have 3,000 calories a day. No one should be starving, which means, as you just pointed out, if there are starving people, then it's because of Hamas, not because Israel is starving people.
Yeah.
So much for that lie, but here's another. The ICC prosecutor accuses Israel of deliberately targeting civilians. What in God's green earth is he talking about? The IDF has dropped millions of flyers, sent millions of text messages, made hundreds of thousands of phone calls to get Palestinian civilians out of harm's way. But at the same time, Hamas does everything in its power to put Palestinian civilians in harm's way. They fire rockets from schools, from hospitals, from mosques. They even shoot their own people when they try to leave the war zone. A senior Hamas official, Fatri Hamad, boasted, listen to this, he boasted that Palestinian women and children excel at being human shields. His words, excel at being human shields.
Pause.
What?
This is the Fatih Hamad. Fatih Hamad is the very guy that I often put on screen to show some of the things he said. He's the same guy who said in 2018, in 4 years, brothers and sisters, we will destroy Israel and we will have cleansed all the Jews.
We're delayed by COVID, but
yeah. And then we will build a caliphate and we will expand this to the world. 4 years, then we will have removed the cancer of the Jews. 4 years, brothers and sisters. COVID unfortunately delayed things a little bit, but we are trying to deal with that. This is the guy. He's the same guy who said, who appealed to Palestinians in Jerusalem and said, go to the market, buy yourself a knife for just 5 shekels, go find a Jew and kill him. This is what we're supposed to do. That's the same guy. And I'm often surprised that not more Israeli speakers mention that guy. So I'm happy to see that Netanyahu actually mentioned.
We wonder why a lot of Israelis don't mention a lot of stuff that should be mentioned. But wait a minute. So let me get this straight. One side is accused of targeting civilians.
Mm-hmm.
That's the same side that constantly sends leaflets saying, hey, here's where you need to go to be in a safe zone, blah, blah, blah. We have to bomb this area because you have a bunch of terrorists encampment here. So if you are not part of them, then get out of here. And here's where you need to go to be safe. And they're sending text messages. Hey, you need to get out of there. You need to get out of there. They're phone calls that will sit there like pleading with people, please get your family out of there. And the guys on the other end, no, we're going to die as martyrs. No, you want to bomb us? We're going to die as martyrs. And so that's one side. The side that is trying as much as humanly possible to minimize civilian casualties, those are the guys who are targeting civilians. And the other side, which is admittedly trying to maximize civilian casualties, putting their soldiers among civilians, hiding under civilians, literally digging tunnels underground so they can hide under civilians. So you see the guys go over here, they go underground, and you bomb the area and you hit civilians. And who even brag that the women and children of Gaza excel at being human shields. Those are the good freedom fighters.
Yeah.
This is insane, man.
This
is beyond insane.
And there's one thing that people don't understand, that people don't get, which is that people keep going around and saying, "Oh, why are they targeting an apartment building? Why a school? Why this? Why that? There is no excuse for this civilians died." First off, any kind of information on who it is that died comes from Hamas. Secondly, however, as harsh as it is not a war crime to target and destroy a civilian building once it is ensured that there is no other way to deal with that target. So Israel would have to make sure that they do everything in their power to minimize civilian casualties, but they also identify that this is a crucial target, and they do this. They drop leaflets, they drop warning bombs, they make endless calls, they put a map out there. If after all of this there are still civilians in a civilian building where Hamas operates from directly, and Israel bombs the place and lots of civilians die, this is not a war crime, and this is not Israel's fault. In fact, if they went to court for that, all they would have to do is to show the record of all of the calls and all of the efforts that they made to remove those people from that place and to make sure that they don't kill civilians. Still, it wasn't possible, so civilians died. This would free them from any blame. That's how it is.
Indeed. I think that's part of why, like, we're sitting there, hey, why aren't you guys responding to this objection? Why aren't more Israelis responding to this and so on? I think it's kind of, they're going to complain about us no matter what we do. It doesn't matter how well, how careful we are at anything. They're still going to attack us. And so why even defend ourselves? Why even that? I guess it's something like that.
Yeah.
Take a couple super chats here. That's a nice shirt indeed, AP. Nice hat, D Wood. Yeah, I'm only wearing this ridiculous hat because AP decided to play dress up and went all bling, and he took all my bling, so I don't have any more bling. But a top hat is kind of, I don't know if I feel like Mr. Peanut or some rich guy. Yahya Sinswar says he depends on the world making Israel feel bad. Do senior Hamas officers know the types of allies they have?
Yeah. Yahya Sinwar also said that Gazan civilians dying is in favor of the goal of Hamas, and it will only help them achieve the goal of humiliating and destroying the Zionist entity. And he's not the only one who said it. But people are so blind. The world is blind.
Keegan here says, made the Muslim lantern end his stream today and restart after I asked about praying through Muhammad to Allah in Sahih Hadith, which is shirk. He denied authenticity. Final straw was Judgment Day.
Based.
That's funny. Islam condemns shirk as the worst possible sin and commits it massively by making a man the entire center of their religion in every way. Now the world will know Israel democratic. Democratic people. Oh. Let's see. Oh, no comment there. If we can persuade AI when it becomes sentient to draw Muhammad, the Islamic Caliphate will have to fatwa it, and they might destroy each other. It'd be funny to do like some sort of Terminator parody where the Skynet becomes self-aware and recognizes Islam as a threat and draws Muhammad. That's good. Let's see. Droog says, thoughts on Anjem Choudhury's arrest and sentencing? I mean, it's kind of a rough situation. Anjem Choudhury is sort of like Muhammad Hijab in that, I mean, it's different because he actually, as far as I recall, he has a law background. He's like a lawyer or something like that. But a lot of the Dawa guys make sure they are aware of where the legal lines are, and they go right up to that line. So like Ali Dawa, when we get the Dawa, we're going to chop your heads off, blah, 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 blah. He understands it's not a specific threat of a particular person at a certain time and so on, that he can get away with it. You've got Hijab. Hijab would send these threats of rape and torture, but he would just add words. He would add words to, remember, force them to their knees in intellectual submission, right? So he would add intellectual. So what are you talking about? I'm not talking about physically forcing them to their knees and defiling them. I'm saying defile them, intellectually. And so he's aware of the line. He goes right up to the line, but he makes sure that if he were brought into court or something like this, I didn't threaten anyone. And Anjem Choudhury's always been like that. Here's exactly of what I'm allowed to say, and I will not go beyond that. I will go right up to the line. But you kind of got the idea that he's doing some serious jihad propagation behind the scenes, right?
Yeah.
And looks like, although I don't, as far as additional, that's how you do it?
Yeah.
Oh. Huh. Well, wait, now I can't make the peace sign. There's a bunch of stupid balloons going up. Peace. 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 And it's not even consistent. What if I do it over here? Peace. Hello. Peace. It don't work. It's barely functional. The other issue with the Anjem Choudhury arrest. The British prison system, because of the government and their complete incompetence, you have not done anything by arresting him. You have not done anything to stop jihad, because they're going to lock him in a big building filled with Muslims and non-Muslims, and the Muslims are in there busy making converts. Hey, convert now, say the Shahada, or we're going to beat you half to death on a daily basis until you do. And then once you convert, then they're busy radicalizing you. He's been sentenced to prison dawa. That's what Anjem Choudhury has been sentenced to. Prison dawa. So he is going to be in there radicalizing people to be jihadis once they get out. There is no way out of this situation until the people of Britain are ready to make some difficult decisions and to just not worry about people's feelings or worry about offending Islam and actually make some tough calls. And this one is easy to make. It's an easy solution that they will never make. The easy solution is you keep Muslims and non-Muslims separated, separate prisons. Radicals, you keep them separate from anyone who's Muslim but doesn't care a whole lot. And that way you can't turn them into jihadis. It's very easy to do. And then you can't have these forced conversions and so on, and you don't have this radicalization. It's easy to do, but it requires you acknowledging there's a problem, and they just can't do that. They just can't acknowledge Islam as a problem, so they won't do it. And the result is, get ready, because now you have a bunch of jihadis in prison being radicalized by Anjem Choudhury and many others.
I think there's a good solution. People like Anjem Choudhury should be deported immediately without question. If he is a citizen of the UK, he should be stripped off his citizenship and just kicked out and made stateless. If that goes against the international, if that goes against a human rights declaration, then the human rights declaration should change its stance on that. But such people should not be given any air, any space in such countries to spread their venom. Or alternatively, there are always laws to quickly deal with people. Those could be brought back.
And people always wonder, well, if you did go the route AP suggesting, and you get rid of them, get them out of your country, where are they going to go? Guys,
don't care.
There's an entire continent called Antarctica that no one is using right now.
Yeah.
Just show them pictures of penguins. They'll think it's chicks and burkas, and they'll be happy to go down it.
Or you could, I'm sure Elon Musk would agree to some experiments of sending some people up to outer space in vessels as an experiment and see what happens.
No other country has to defend its very existence. It is absurd. That is true. Like even like Muslim nations that are just Sharia compliant hellholes. No one says you don't have a right to a country. That's only Israel. Iran would like U.S. and Israel insulting and mistrusting each other. Get the great Satan and the little Satan blame each other. I'm glad we still believe in each other. Silent majority, at least.
Yeah, that's what Iran does. That's what they do. It is
what they do.
Their slogan and their policy to say death to America and death to Israel and to death and curse the Jews. And that's what they want to do and what they want to succeed at. And then there are of course also those useful idiots, both on the left and also on the right occasionally, who really help them with that.
And but I mean, think about it. They're constantly death to America, death to Israel. They're killing women. They're killing their own people. Only 40% of the population still considers themselves Muslims. Looks like that regime is going to collapse in the very near future, and they're sitting here going, "Oh, what if we pay for the bus to bring these protesters out to the war? That will show everyone.
Yes.
That will show everyone. Then Americans and Israelis will start hating each other, and then we'll win."
And somebody made a good suggestion that you could try sending people like Anjem Choudary in a vessel to Uranus and see if that does anything, if that changes anything. Yeah.
You should open a new channel or clip series of Come Read With Me Islam with a Jewish scholar, the Dizzle, AP, Armin Navabi, and maybe a Hindu. This way, you can go through every single surah and see which religion it's stolen from while giving the tafsirs and hadiths related to the same passages. And a massive video and verbal methodical breakdown of every single Islamic lie and deceivement with their proud dawah puppets destroying themselves and Islam. We are in the near future it's not like that as far as having a bunch of different people from a bunch of different backgrounds, but we are going to bringing in a couple of Arabic speakers to help do a regular series. I'm talking like move to the area so that we can do shows together, but we are going to do, not sure what to call it or exactly how to go about it, but I want something comprehensive as far as possibly going through the entire Quran, call it like through the Quran or something like this, but at the very least go through the most important passages, bringing up the various commentaries and so on, and having that handy so that anytime you want something handy where anytime you're going somewhere and someone's bringing up some passage, you can go back and you can educate yourself very quickly on that because you got the videos handy.
There's a Pal Sir in the comment who says many Israelis protesting against Nazi-Yahu. Dear Pal Sir, I'm pretty sure that you are not interested in facts anyway, but the population that vastly protests against Netanyahu, they're not protesting because they are against the war. What they're protesting is different policies on how to deal with the war, how to deal with the hostage situation, on plans post-war in Gaza, and so on, to replace and put somebody else in place and conduct the rest of the war. Things like these. People there don't believe in your BS story of we're being genocided. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I mean it's the same thing we were talking about earlier. If the people of Israel decide they want another leader, you have that ability. You have that ability. You can campaign, you can vote, and so on. Right now, he's dealing with some problems. He's dealing with some difficult issues, and I have to say, doing a pretty bang-up job.
Yeah.
One more, and then we'll jump back in the video. Brutefact.world runs on Jews and white Christian inventions. I think he's saying world runs on Jews and Christian inventions.
Alhamdulillah.
All right, back to this.
Monstrous evil For Israel, every civilian death is a tragedy. For Hamas, it's a strategy. They actually want Palestinian civilians to die so that Israel will be smeared in the international media and be pressured to end the war before it's won. This would enable Hamas to survive another day and, as they vowed, to carry out October 7th again and again and again. Well, I want to assure you, no matter what pressure is brought to bear, I will never allow that to happen. The vast majority of Americans have not fallen for this Hamas propaganda. They continue to support Israel. And I want to say thank you, America, and thank you, senators and House members who continue to support us, continue to support Israel, continue to support the truth and see through the lies. But as for the minority that may have fallen for Hamas's cons job, I suggest you listen to Colonel John Spencer. John Spencer is head of urban warfare studies at West Point.
Listen to this.
He studied every major urban conflict.
You're familiar with this guy?
Yeah.
I was going to say in modern history. He corrected me, no, in history.
Nice.
Israel, he said, has implemented more precautions to prevent civilian harm than any military in history and beyond what international law requires. That's why, despite all the
report. I read the report. He is, I forgot what the institute.
How long is it?
Called.
We should go through it, man. You should make a video, or at least you should make a video on it going through it.
I know, but people don't like listening to articles. You know?
Give a summary and give the link to where they can read the full thing.
Yeah, I think it's.
Then you equip the people. You equip the people.
I forgot what it's called, but he is at an American governmental training and research institute, and he studies urban warfare, and he has been saying consistently that that these accusations against Israel are totally false, and that Israel has done more, as Bibi just said, to prevent civilian harm than any other side in known conflicts.
As you've heard, the war in Gaza, to support Israel, continue to support the truth and see through the lies. But as for the minority that may have fallen for Hamas's cons job, I suggest you listen to Colonel John Spencer. John Spencer is head of urban warfare studies at West Point.
West Point.
He studied every major urban conflict. I was going to say in modern history. He corrected me, no, in history. Israel, he said, has implemented more precautions to prevent civilian harm than any military in history and beyond what international law requires.
Can you imagine you've done, according to an actual military expert on the history of wars, you've taken more precautions to minimize civilian casualties than any other military in history.
Yeah.
And still you're blasted as the people who are targeting civilians.
Yeah.
That's insane, man.
This is why they really have a point when they accuse the world, all these nations surrounding them, United Nations bodies, of having a very clear anti-Israel bias, because
You think?
Israel will do whatever they can to prevent harm, and they will be condemned, whereas the opponents will do whatever they can to maximize civilian casualties, and it will still be, the talk will still be about Israeli occupation and apartheid and this and that.
It is nuts, man. Nuts.
That's why, despite all the lies you've heard, the war in Gaza has one of the lowest ratios of combatants to non-combatants casualties in the history of urban warfare.
Remember, we looked into that.
And you want to know where it's lowest in Gaza?
Rafah.
It's lowest in Rafah. In Rafah. Remember what so many people said? If Israel goes into Rafah, there'll be thousands, maybe even tens of thousands of civilians killed. Well, last week, I went into Rafah. I visited our troops as they finished fighting Hamas's remaining terrorist battalions. I asked the commander there, how many terrorists did you take out in Rafah? He gave me an exact number, 1,203. I asked him, how many civilians were killed? He said, Prime Minister, Practically none. With the exception of a single incident where shrapnel from a bomb hit a Hamas weapons depot and unintentionally killed 24 people, the answer is practically none. You want to know why? Because Israel got the civilians out of harm's way, something people said we could never do, but we did it.
You know what's funny about this? I saw an article on some website, on some news website, fact-checking this point that Netanyahu made, and they say maybe Netanyahu was misinformed by his commander. While we can confirm the one incident of shrapnel causing civilian deaths, there have also been reports by the Gaza Health Ministry that another incident cost the lives of 30 or 40 civilians, mostly children. That this was their refutation.
That would still be practically none compared to. In other words, that's in other words, if you're talking 12, if you had to get 1,200 terrorists out of there.
Yeah.
So in other words, that is. Because guys, keep in mind. Remember what Hijab was saying? It's 100-to-1 ratio, civilian to combatant ratio. It's 100-to-1 for every actual Hamas jihadi. They get 100 civilians are killed, and that was like insanely beyond even the numbers that Hamas was putting out. Right? Mm-hmm. If you look at the numbers Hamas was putting out, I don't know what the latest figures are, but it looked like around 2-to-1. Right? It looked like it was around 2-to-1. Then we started getting numbers, and it was looking like it was around 1-to-1. In other words, for every terrorist, and the amazing thing about this was this is in a situation where, again, one side is trying to maximize civilian casualties. They're deliberately embedding themselves in areas where to get to them, you have to go through a bunch of civilians to get to them. If you want to drop a bomb on them, they make sure there are a bunch of civilians in the area. And so it's like a nightmare situation. Whether it was 1-to-1 or 2-to-1, that is, if you just explained the situation to me, that one side is trying to maximize civilian casualties and so on. What are you looking for?
Water.
Why don't you just ask for a giant jug of water, man? I keep water all over the place, but I keep it close to myself. So yeah, if you would explain the situation and say, what's this going to be like? What's the ratio going to be like? I would have been like, gosh, if they're being careful, like 5-to-1, 5-to-1, 7-to-1. And then it's turning out to be maybe closer to 1-to-1. That's insanely careful, ladies and gentlemen, especially for the type of war that's being fought here. We looked it up once. You're talking World War II, where you did have armies going out against each other and so on. World War II, it was still basically a 2-to-1. In other words, for every soldier you kill, 2 civilians are being killed. That was in an area where you're not talking about people who are deliberately trying to maximize civilian casualties and using human shields and so on. So, BD's right here, man.
Think about this. There's in such a war, there is learned helplessness at some point kicks in, and it's a very sad thing. But a lot of people there in Gaza, probably who just live their lives, when they receive the instructions to evacuate and to go. Take your belongings, whatever you urgently need, and go to this other place. If they moved here and there before, at some point, some of them probably think, you know what, what's even the point? I don't care anymore. And just stay there and then die as a result. You even have so many records of Israel going there and forcibly lining up those people and sending them away to put them out of harm's way. But still, under such circumstances, such a low ratio, despite everything that is being said, it's impressive.
Very impressive, I have to say. And anyone who doesn't, hey, did I leave in some applause here? That was a total accident, so I did not intend to leave that in there. I was cutting it out. I left the applause at the very end. I missed taking out
these heroes here today, the heroic soldiers of Israel, should not be condemned for how they're conducting the war in Gaza. They should be commended for it. I want to thank all of you here today who forcefully opposed the false accusations of the ICC and stood up for the truth. These lies are not only libelous, They're downright dangerous. The ICC is trying to shackle Israel's hands and prevent us from defending ourselves. And if Israel's hands are tied, America is next. And I'll tell you what else is next. The ability of all democracies to fight terrorism will be imperiled. That's what's on the line. So let me assure you, the hands of the Jewish state will never be shackled. Israel will always defend itself. My friends, in the Middle East, Iran is virtually beyond.
About when people, some of the right, come out here and blast Israel while this is happening, will be the very same people who complain about how the West is handling immigration and how we're just letting anything happen. Here is Israel. Israel is currently the only nation that is actually fighting against these brutal attacks. Is technically or practically part of the Western world in a way. They are out there fighting against the terrorism, against the takeover, against all of it. But these idiots like Gropers and others, because they don't like Jews, they don't like this and they object to it. And like, Israel is bloodthirsty. Israel is doing this. Israel is the only country, unlike your countries, that actually fights. Okay, and if Israel loses, this will be a precedent and things will get really bad.
Jack Ray says, when a P accepts Christ, he'll be based P.
Based P.
Based P. Saudi man in a video on Twitter praises Israel leaders of the past. He calls Netanyahu a coward for not burning Palestinians, for being too merciful. That sounds closer to AP's sick position. I'm in favor of being as careful as possible in this situation.
That's the thing.
That's what I think.
That's an Arab sentiment.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's like that's what's crazy about all the complaints. I'm looking at them going like they are being as careful as possible, and they're not going like scorched earth in the sense of, well, look, let's just get this over with and slaughter everybody. Being very careful and methodical about going after Hamas and so on, and they're blasted for it. And meanwhile, you've got other guys saying, you're being way too nice.
Yeah.
So if you're being blasted by one side for being way too nice and blasted by another side for being way too brutal, chances are you're probably at a good position.
Yes.
Away from the extremes. That's not the peace sign. That's the sign of victorious peace. Well, why does it lead to balloons? For victory?
Woo! I don't know.
Hey, they even put some behind us.
Yeah. That's weird how it works.
What is that back? There's this guy Buckshot in prison, and I was just goofing off on it. The sun was coming through the little window and it's shining off my watch. You know how you can like direct it like that and point at things. Anyway, I pointed at Buckshot and it was on his shirt, and he looks down and he goes, "Man, get that off me!" He started flipping out and get that off me. Oh boy, definitely a brainiac.
Beast.
Definitely a brainiac. I bet senior Hamas officers are proud of how only random college activists and Queers for Palestine support their strong religion.
Yes. And queers.
Yeah, there has to come a point where you look at the person on your left, you look at the person on your right, and you're like, who am I standing here with, man?
Queers, and then you have college activists, and you have queers. And
not just queers for Palestine. They're like the communists. They're like the commie wing.
Yeah, and not to forget queers also, by the way.
Yeah, them too. But we've got a video of that. Fortunately, they were able to meet Muhammad and have a good, fruitful discussion.
Yeah.
Thanks for everything, guys. TT needs you too. What's that?
I don't know.
What's TT?
Sounds pretty perverted.
I don't know. TT needs you too. Yeah, what's that? The picture here says Perpetual Brian, but it's got me smoking the Quran on there.
Beast.
AP needs to sit nearer the mic to balance the volume. There.
Is it better now?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you tend to lean back. You tend to lean back and chill.
Is it better now?
Is that better?
Is it better?
Is it better?
Is it better now? Or is it better now?
Yeah. And you, eunuch, stop complaining about everything.
Yeah.
You got bigger problems. You got bigger problems to worry about.
Oh, TT means TikTok. Apparently.
Oh, yeah. No, that ain't going to happen. Yeah, someone else needs to do that.
Yeah.
Someone get on TikTok and make dope content of it.
I can't do videos.
Only one life 'twill soon be past. Only what's done for Christ will last. For Israel hostages, IDF and USA. For D Wood and AP and both fams. For AP to be bro in Christ.
Based. Thank you. Appreciate it.
That is a pretty dope comment.
Peace.
And Mosh here again. Exactly, David. A massive database that could be used to convert them out of the death cult. Currently, I'm on around 300 Muslims leaving the cult. Nice.
That's based.
That is extremely based.
That's good.
That's super based. John Spencer teaches at West Point. Is that the guy we were talking about that he was talking about, who did the research?
Yes.
Yeah. Smart guy. And very based.
Yeah.
Boom Boom Room idea from Lloyd here. Winger. If this says anything other than Muhammad looks over and sees its winger and blows him up, I don't know what's going to happen here. Boom Boom Room idea. There's only two directions he's going to go. Muhammad's going to be like, this guy's so much of a dork, I'm not going to have a discussion with him and just blow him up. Or he's going to be like Muhammad's best buddy because he's talking about... So anyway, Winger meets Muhammad and uses Star Trek stories to explain his points. No, this is a good idea. Mike Winger meets Muhammad and starts using Star Trek stories to explain his points, which is exactly what he would do because he's a Star Trek nerd. Muhammad thinks this is a religion and gets his scribe to start writing. At the end of the video is Ali Dawah at Speaker's Corner preaching the Quran with those Star Trek stories in it. That would make a good point, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That is definitely doable.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, I am screenshotting this so I do not forget that idea. Just have to find someone nerdy enough to play Mike Winger. But the problem is a lot of the nerds probably wouldn't who are you going to get? Like Urkel? He's all grown up now. Get Napoleon Dynamite? I don't even know if he's acting anymore. So anyways, you got to find someone to play
Maybe
Mike
we could
Winger.
get Abdullah Samir.
Why are you calling Abdullah Samir randomly calling him a nerd, man? What's wrong with you? You see this? This is what these ex-Muslims do. They all start fighting against each other. You guys need to take your show on the road. Yeah, we could call it Apologetics Roadshow. That'd be dope.
Oh, that makes sense. That sounds good.
Bunny Money says, if you send Muslims to Antarctica, wouldn't they starve to death during Ramadan? Seems odd that a religion wanting to take over the entire world wouldn't account for the axial tilt of the earth. Well, I mean, that kind of depends on when it is. When Ramadan, they might just be eating all day long.
Alhamdulillah.
Can you guys do research on the phenomenon that there are many Palestinians unknowingly maintain Jewish traditions due to forced conversions or hidden heritage to avoid persecution or taxation? So I guess the theory here is that over time, Jews converted to Islam. Then, of course, their descendants are Muslims, but they're maintaining Jewish family traditions because they don't realize that their families were converted for some other reason, either forced conversion or trying to avoid paying the jizya or something like that. Yeah, I'm not familiar with that. But if you want to send us if you're familiar with any articles about that or something, send us that info on Twitter. We'll check it out. All right, back to BB here.
Wait a minute.
Behind.
Looking this up?
I don't know who said this, but somebody said there was a woman, or Nope said there was some woman on Abdullah Samir's channel today, and she talked trash about AP and David Wood.
Oh, she did?
So I'm gonna check this out. This means a war.
Hey, we should go through that. That'd be fun.
This is war.
War. AP and David are so mean. We sure are.
All the terrorism, all the turmoil, all the chaos, all the killing. And that should come as no surprise. When he founded the Islamic Republic, Ayatollah Khomeini pledged, "We will export our revolution to the entire world." We will export the Islamic revolution to the entire world. Now ask yourself, which country ultimately stands in the way of Iran's maniacal plans to impose radical Islam on the world?
USA.
And the answer is clear. It's America, the guardian of Western civilization and the world's greatest power. That's why Iran...
I thought he was about to say Israel. And I like you can make two cases. They're doing it in a different way, but they have to constantly be on guard against this. I mean, because Iran's basically going after them, just straight up. But
USA.
Yeah. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Ultimately stands in the way of Iran's maniacal plans to impose radical Islam on the world? And the answer is clear. It's America, the guardian of Western civilization and the world's greatest power. That's why Iran sees America as its greatest enemy. Last month, we heard a revealing comment, ostensibly about the war in Gaza, but about something else. It came from the foreign minister of Iran's proxy, Hezbollah, and he said this: "This is not a war with Israel. Israel," he said, "is merely a tool. The main war, the real war, is with America." Iran's regime has been fighting America from the moment it came to power.
Yes. Hence all those videos of like hundreds of thousands of people gathered together screaming death to America. Though, to be clear, ladies and gentlemen, as we had Armin Navabi on here breaking it down, that's a particular group. There are the groups who follow. There are the people there who follow the radical clerics and so on. Those are the people there. Rest of the population, they have a bigger problem with their leaders than they do with America or Israel. Based. Good to know.
1979, it stormed the American embassy. It held scores of Americans hostage for 444 days. Since then, Iran's terrorist proxies have targeted America in the Middle East and beyond.
There was a movie.
In Beirut, they killed 241 U.S. servicemen. In Africa, they bombed American embassies. In Iraq, they supplied explosives to maim and kill thousands of American soldiers. In America, they actually sent death squads. They sent death squads here to murder a former Secretary of State and a former National Security Advisor. And as we recently learned, they even brazenly threatened to assassinate President Trump. But Iran understands that to truly challenge America, it must first conquer the Middle East. And for this, it uses its many proxies, including the Houthis, Hezbollah, and Hamas. Yet in the heart of the Middle East, standing in Iran's way, is one proud pro-American democracy, my country, the State of Israel. That's why the mobs in Tehran chant death to Israel before they chant death to America. For Iran, Israel is first, America is next. So when Israel fights Hamas, we're fighting Iran. When we fight Hezbollah, we're fighting Iran. When we fight the Houthis, we're fighting Iran. And when we fight Iran, we're fighting the most radical and murderous enemy of the United States of America. And one more thing. When Israel acts to prevent Iran from developing nuclear weapons that could destroy Israel and threaten every American city, every city that you come from, we're not only protecting ourselves, we're protecting you. My friends, if you
I need better applause thing. You got to do it right, man.
It don't work.
Come on, give us the balloons. There we go.
Oh,
you got to shake it. Does that work?
Shake it, shake it, shake it, shake it, shake it.
Hold on.
Shake, 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 shake it. Shake it, shake it, shake it, shake it.
Computer, show balloons.
Shake it, shake it, shake it.
Yeah, that's an important point. He's bringing up there that you take someplace like Iran. They want to export the revolution to the entire world. They want death to America. They want to Europe, but their first goal is take the Middle East.
Beast.
And so, as long as Israel stands its ground, then Iran can't achieve its agenda.
Beast.
But fortunately, I don't think Iran's going to last too much longer. Very important point, though, about the nuclear weapons. You know, if Iran got a nuclear weapon, there are multiple things they could do with that. They want nuclear weapons. And if they made one, you'd be thinking, okay, they're going to use that against the U.S. or they're going to use that against Israel, one or the other. Israel or the U.S., either one would stop them and make sure it didn't happen, but you wouldn't exactly know what they're doing with that. So you're going to be protecting all kinds of people.
Remember one thing from the speech. Remember this. Our enemies are your enemies. Our fight is your fight. And our victory will be your victory. Ladies and gentlemen.
No, because the Groypers they need victory too.
That victory is in sight. Israel's defeat of Hamas will be a powerful blow to Iran's axis of terror. Mm-hmm. Another part of that axis.
That is true. They're taking out an Iran puppet.
Hezbollah attacked Israel on October 8th, a day after the Hamas attack.
And more after that.
It has launched thousands of missiles and drones against us. 80,000 of our citizens in northern Israel evacuated their homes, becoming effectively refugees in their own land. We are committed to returning them home. We prefer to achieve this diplomatically. But let me be clear. Israel will do whatever it must do to restore security to our northern border and return our people safely to their homes. Last Friday, a third Iranian proxy, the Houthis, attacked Tel Aviv with a deadly drone. It exploded a few hundred feet from the American consulate, killing one person and injuring 9. On Saturday, I authorized a swift response to that attack. All our enemies should know this. Those who attack Israel will pay a very heavy price. And as we defend ourselves on all fronts, I know that America has our back. And I thank you for it.
And I do want to give a shout out to David Wood and the Apostate Prophet.
I've been watching their videos, and that's why I'm using some of their
Everyone, make sure you go and watch Muhammad Meets Queers for Palestine. It is phenomenal.
Yeah, and go and like and subscribe to David Wood and Apostate Prophet.
That'd have been funny.
All sides of the aisle, thank you. My friends, for decades, America has provided Israel with generous military assistance, and a grateful Israel has provided America with critical intelligence that saved many lives. We've jointly developed some of the most sophisticated weapons on earth. I choose my words carefully. We've jointly developed some of the most sophisticated weapons on earth that help protect both our countries. And we also help keep American boots. We help keep Americans' boots off the ground while protecting our shared interests in the Middle East. I deeply appreciate America's support, including in this current war. But this is an exceptional moment. Fast-tracking U.S. military aid can dramatically expedite an end to the war in Gaza and help prevent a broader war in the Middle East. In World War II, as Britain fought on the front lines of civilization, Winston Churchill appealed to Americans with these famous words: "Give us the tools and we'll finish the job." Today, as Israel fights on the front line of civilization, I too appeal to America. Give us the tools faster and we'll finish the job faster.
Yes.
My dear friends, the war in Gaza could end tomorrow if Hamas surrenders, disarms, and returns all the hostages. But if they don't, Israel will fight until we destroy Hamas's military capabilities, end its rule in Gaza, and bring all our hostages home. That's what total victory means, and we will settle for nothing less. The day after we defeat Hamas, a new Gaza can emerge. My vision for that day is of a demilitarized and de-radicalized Gaza. Israel does not seek to resettle Gaza, but for the foreseeable future, we must retain overriding security control there to prevent the resurgence of terror, to ensure...
Wow. What was that?
That's 2 thumbs up.
Just keep in mind, you're interrupting this dude's dope speech with fireworks.
Yeah, you can't even hear them.
Yeah, it'd be funny if it would be funny. There should be sound effects with that.
Yeah.
That Gaza never again poses a threat to Israel. Gaza should have a civilian administration run by Palestinians who do not seek to destroy Israel. That's not too much to ask.
It kind of is with what's going on there, right? Like, how do you? What was it, like 60-some% of the population voted in Hamas, and then you've also got disturbing percentages of people who are in favor of what Hamas was doing. Like,
Yeah,
I don't know, how do you
are-
have civilian control in a situation like that?
Yeah,
Unless you're saying, like, 80 years in the future, this is the goal, and here are the steps we're going to take to make sure that we get that over time.
Yeah, I think 70% or so, according to the last poll, said that they agree with what Hamas did on October 7th. The majority agree that they should keep fighting instead of negotiating until they can take all of the land and all of this. And the vast majority absolutely hate Jews. It's just this is the thing. I see everything that Netanyahu is saying, but it's just a situation that doesn't really have a solution like that.
Yeah.
You have to, if you want to really change the Gaza population and really want to, really want to have people there who do not hate Jews, who don't want to kill Jews, who don't want to destroy Israel. I'm sorry to say it, but what you have to do is to get rid of Islam. You have to re-educate these people and stop them from following the traditions that they have so far followed. And I know lots of people who are so far with us will say, no, that's too much. It goes too far. It's probably not the religion. It is the religion. It is the religion. It is Islam. It is Islam, the Islamic religion, which, according to the authentic narrations, say that it is impossible for the day of judgment to come until Muslims fight the Jews and kill them, and even find and kill them behind rocks and trees. This is what Islam preaches. This is what they believe in. This was around long before the events of 1948 and the rise of Zionism. So this whole thing is an interesting project, but it's not very much doable.
Yeah, and this ties into what I was saying about the prisons, and that there is a really effective, very easy solution for the problem of prison radicalization and forced conversions in prison. It's very easy. But people just can't bring themselves to say that there's a problem with Islam. And so they won't do it. And so they won't do anything about the problem. And so the problem continues. You have preachers calling for jihad and the violent subjugation of Great Britain, and they're in there training every inmate who comes through the doors to be a future jihadi. And guys, as someone who's been in prison, there are lots of people in there who don't mind taking big risks, don't mind getting violent, all those kinds of things. In other words, they're the ideal target audience for jihad. Prison inmates are the ideal, perfect. They're already dissatisfied with society. They have a problem with the government, and you start talking about, hey, we're going to bring down this government that locked you up. Woohoo! Be all for it. And there's an easy solution there. Just separate the populations so that the guys who would radicalize them are kept separate. It's very easy, but you'd have to acknowledge the problem. If you wanted to be really smart and deal with the problem, then when you're bringing in these young Muslims, you'd be exposing them to all the problems with Islam and all of the lies of the Dawah guys. And you'd have them listening to this stuff every day, the refutations, exposing their book, showing that this is complete pagan nonsense. You'd be showing them that daily until they get the point. But you can't, because that would be Islamophobic. Same thing in Israel. If you wanted to do, as AP's pointed out, you're going to have an ongoing problem. You're not going to get something that looks really good as long as the people are still believing that Muhammad has told them that Allah wants them to beat these Jews.
Yeah.
Right? It's a command of God, right? It's a command of God for us to go get these guys.
Yeah.
And they're not going to stop until they don't believe it's a command of God, because they don't believe in what Muhammad said anymore.
Yeah. Israel can do one thing, which is to say, you know what, guys? We gave you the option. We gave you autonomy. We removed ourselves completely from Gaza. We gave it to you. And here is what you did. No more. We are now in charge, and it will not be reversed. and then they have to do something about the distribution of the demographic distribution of that area.
Let's see. Get the real Mike Winger in the boom boom room. He better bring an army if he wants to be in the same room with D. Wood.
This is the real Mike Winger. What are you talking
about? Mike Winger, such a nerd, he calls football soccer.
Ridiculous, man.
Oh, you mean he's a nerd? He calls like real American football soccer? Yeah, it sounds like something that some person who doesn't know anything about sports would say. Good point. Just want to say, keep going. Yes, we shall.
Thank you.
Bruh, it's called improvisation and not complaining.
Based.
The president of Israel is calling America a guardian. Biden sometimes goes blank. No, Biden is super based. Pro-Palestine, pro-Pallies look and sound like Everett Clare from DE. What is that?
I have no idea.
We don't know what that is. DE.
Hey,
What's
Black
DE
Angel?
stand for?
Black Angel just had a good solution to the issue, which is to 24/7 AP and David Wood videos in detention. You know.
Yeah. No, I mean, or tell us, hey, we want to really de-radicalize these guys, but we're taking it seriously now. We're finally taking it seriously. We finally realize there's a problem. We need a good 100 video series to play on repeat for these guys every single day. We'll make it. We'll make one. Yeah. We'll make one. And watch what happens. True, you would still have people who still believe in Islam. They would make it through that. One, you would have a bunch of people who leave Islam, and two, even the people who decide to remain Muslims, they're going to have enough doubts in their heads that they're not going to be wanting to go around blowing people up.
Doubts? What doubts, man? Mm-hmm. Yeah, 200% of the people will probably leave Islam after seeing it.
At least 200%. At least 200%.
It's a fundamental thing that we have a right to demand and to receive. A new generation of Palestinians must no longer be taught to hate Jews, but rather to live in peace with us. Those twin words, demilitarization.
Yeah, it has to be something like you're saying, where they just take control, right?
Yeah.
Like Israel is in control of like the education system and things like that, and even that would be very difficult because the kids are still at home with their parents and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So this point is, guys, defeating Hamas, that's one thing. Israel's going to do that. As far as making Gaza this place that doesn't hate Israel, that's a much tougher job because that's an ideological issue with Islam.
Yeah, or give those when you put those people in prison, give them some Jewish pen pals. Yeah,
where's Jordan?
And de-radicalization. Those two concepts were applied to Germany and Japan after World War II, and that led to decades of peace, prosperity, and security. Following
different situation. Go ahead.
Yeah, very different situation, very different cultures, not the same thing. If the Palestinian population had a similar culture, you could do that there as well. You had governments in charge that imposed certain ideas and ideologies upon their populations in Germany and Japan, and it was possible to remove those and to make agreements and to take control of some of the education and all that, and do the whole denazification process, because there was no very strong underlying religious element which indoctrinated people for generations on how to view Jews or others. That's the problem with Islam. Here you have Islam. You can't just go in and remove the government and then change them.
And that's what's amazing. It's very easy to expose and falsify. It's just everyone's been trained, don't do that. It's like, what are you talking about? Don't do that. Why? Why not? Do you believe it's true? Do you believe Islam is true? No, you don't believe it's true. Why do you have such a big objection to people exposing it as false?
Yeah.
Following our victory, with the help of regional partners, the demilitarization and de-radicalization of Gaza can also lead to a future of security, prosperity, and peace. That's my vision for Gaza. Now here's my vision for the broader Middle East.
No.
It's also shaped in part by what we saw in the aftermath of World War II. After that war,
Again, big problem. He's drawing parallels between World War II and the aftermath, and Gaza and the rest of the Middle East. And hey, why can't we do the same thing? Different situation. We were agreeing with you almost all the way through the entire speech, BB. But now, I wish it would be like this. It's not like this.
America
Stop calling him baby, man. Have some respect.
forged a security alliance in Europe to counter the growing Soviet threat. Likewise, America and Israel today can forge a security alliance in the Middle East to counter the growing Iranian threat. All countries that are at peace with Israel and all those countries who will make peace with Israel should be invited to join this alliance. We saw a glimpse of that potential alliance on April 14th. Led by the United States, more than half a dozen nations worked alongside Israel to help neutralize hundreds of missiles and drones launched by Iran against us. Thank you, President Biden, for bringing that coalition together. The new alliance signed.
Thank you. Thank you, President Biden's teleprompter, for bringing all these people together.
I'm so excited for another term with Joe Biden. Man, wow.
It's going to be awesome.
Vision would be a natural extension of the groundbreaking Abraham Accords. Those accords saw peace forged between Israel and 4 Arab countries, and they were supported by Republicans and Democrats alike. We could call...
mention Trump.
I have a name for this new alliance. I think we should call it the Abraham Alliance. I want to thank President Trump for his leadership in brokering the historic Abraham.
There you see, he's mentioning Trump now.
Yeah. The Abraham Alliance. No, because Muslims are going to want to be in there. I mean, the sort of alliance he's talking about, I'm actually, like, as far as Israel having alliances with neighboring Muslim nations, I'm actually in favor of that. So, yeah, if you can pull that off,
Accords,
do it.
Like Americans, Israelis were relieved that President Trump emerged safe and sound from that dastardly attack on him, dastardly attack on American democracy. There is no room for political violence in democracies. I also want to thank President Trump for all the things he did for Israel, from recognizing Israel's sovereignty over the Golan Heights, to confronting Iran's aggression, to recognizing Jerusalem as our capital and moving the American embassy there.
Ooh, we've been there.
Yeah. We saw it, but we couldn't take a photo.
Yeah, they don't let you take a photo of the location. You can stand and take a photo in front of the little sign that says this is the embassy. They don't want. I don't know why I'm guessing they just don't want. What do you think the reason? Anyone can look up where the embassy is.
I don't know. You could just slowly drive by there and take a photo.
Yeah, I know.
But it's.
I guess they just don't want people posting, like people having easy access to images so they could like look at it and plan. I don't know how. It's like just right there on the street.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
But some guy ran over as soon as they saw my phone and were like, "Hey, stop it!"
I originally did it. I told you they're going to do that because I did it. I did it a few years earlier when I took a trip. I was on the other side of the street. I was on the other side of the street, and I was just walking by, and I go, "Hey, the embassy," and I click a picture, and they ran me down. They're like, "We need to see you delete that picture." And I'm like, huh? What? Yeah, you need to delete that picture. You can take one right in front of the sign, but you can't show the location.
Yeah. When I took a photo,
you look it up on Google Maps. Anyway, I don't know.
When I took a photo, this security guy ran over and he jumped on me like in college football and squeezed the phone out of my hand.
Yeah,
it was very traumatic.
Yeah, it was apartheid. Yeah.
That's Jerusalem, our eternal capital, never to be divided again. My dear friends, Democrats and Republicans, despite these times of upheaval, I'm hopeful about the future. I'm hopeful about Israel because my people, the Jewish people, emerged from the depths of hell, from dispossession and genocide. And against all odds, we restored our sovereignty in our ancient homeland. We built a powerful and vibrant democracy, a democracy that pushes the boundaries of innovation for the betterment of all humanity. I'm hopeful about America because I'm hopeful about Americans. I know how much the people of this country have sacrificed to defend freedom. America will continue to be a force.
That was an earlier generation. It's easy to look around and say, I don't know if this is a generation that's going to fight for freedom here, bub.
I'm pretty sure that the drag queens will probably join in and defend America.
Yeah.
Things like that.
Yeah, they're going to stand against Islam. No, they're on the same. I don't know what to do.
For light and good in a dark and dangerous world. For free peoples everywhere, America remains the beacon of liberty its extraordinary founders envisioned back in 1776. Working together, I'm confident that our two nations will vanquish the tyrants and terrorists who threaten us both. As Israel's Prime Minister, I promise you this: no matter how long it takes, no matter how difficult the road ahead, Israel will not relent, Israel will not bend. We will defend our land, we will defend our people, we will fight until we achieve victory. Victory over liberty, rather victory of liberty over tyranny, victory of life over death, victory of good over evil. That's our solemn commitment.
Yes, I believe in that.
And we will continue to work with the United States and our Arab partners to transform a troubled region from a backwater of repression, poverty, and war into a thriving oasis of dignity, prosperity, and peace. In this noble mission,
good luck to you on that.
As in many others, Israel will always remain America's indispensable ally. Through thick and thin, in good times and in bad, Israel will always be your loyal friend and your steadfast partner. On behalf of the people of Israel, I came here today to say thank you, America. Thank you for your support and solidarity. Thank you for standing in Israel, with Israel, in our hour of need. Together we shall defend our common civilization. Together we shall secure a brilliant future for both our nations. May God bless Israel, may God bless America, and may God bless the great alliance between Israel and America forever.
Thank you for being a friend. Travel down the road and back again. Your heart is true. You're a pal and a confidant. And if you threw a party, we invited everyone to see. You would see the biggest gift would be from me. And a heart attack would say thank you for being a friend.
I left the clause at the end.
USA, 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 USA. Give me the hands! It's time, woohoo!
Ladies and gentlemen, that was Benjamin Netanyahu.
All I can say about that is, when I was a boy, my mama told me, chase my dreams, and here I am. I am in America. Something like that. Anyway, continue, David.
All right. So anyway, awesome speech. That guy. Yeah. See, you can like him or not like him. That dude gives some dope speeches.
Yeah. That was pretty good.
Yep, especially when he's right about most of the stuff. Some of the stuff we have our doubts about.
Doubts? What doubts, man?
DE is Disco Elysium. Also, look, there's no scenario. I'm looking up any of this. I think he's talking to you.
I don't remember the character. Yeah, but yes, fantastic.
Tommy Robinson. Wait, what is it? Will you review Tommy Robinson movie Silence on? Hey. I know he got locked up. I don't know if he's out yet or whatever. You should ask if we can just watch the entire thing, watch it, and react to it live. I don't think he'd have a problem, but I'd be happy to do that.
I think I read earlier that Tommy Robinson has been released on bail, but his phone has been confiscated.
So you can't even message him?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sure he'll have access one way or another to messages on Twitter or something like that. So, yeah, DM him on Twitter. I'd be happy to go through that entire movie.
Yeah.
and talk some mad trash about the people who arrested him. Catching up, but try these hand gestures like 1 times. What do you mean? What do you mean times 1? 1 hand down?
Two hands. Wait, 2 hands up. It's getting confused now.
Fireworks.
Whoa.
Fireworks are the 2 hands up. Wait, we just had confetti.
Yeah.
Wait, I'm gonna screenshot this. I have the screenshot, ladies. Oh, I should screenshot it over here.
Oh, raining! Look.
Whoa! Whoa! Oh, good thing I brought my hat. Confetti. Heart, make heart shape with your fingers.
What
we know
in
that.
the
And then lasers. Wait a minute. Wait, you just did that?
Yeah, it does. What in tarnation?
Whoa!
Beast.
It's kind of lame that we're sitting here doing this, though.
Yeah.
It's kind of dorky.
This is getting too advanced. I'm scared that AI will take over and kill us all.
Repeat destroying the Quran till they quit. Yeah, that is. But guys, I mean, people are catching on and exposing Islam, and you do have the avalanche of apostasy. So these are good times. We may see some peace there. We may see some peace. Get enough ex-Muslims. In Gaza. That is the only way. You need enough people who do not believe in the commands of Muhammad and the prophecies of Muhammad.
I wonder if when you do this, there's an explosion, like an Islamic explosion. Like an Islamic explosion. Like,
that would be funny if you're like, what? And then, like the explosion on the screen.
That'll be fun.
I wonder if we could I wonder if there's like add-ons or something like that we can do. Gigi here says, China is cruel, but they play 24/7 loudspeakers to Muslims to uplift China and denounce Islam. That's interesting. I wouldn't do it 24/7. I'd have it required classes that they have to take, and they have to answer.
Oh, Mike Winger has a video.
It would be questions like, how many different Arabic Qurans did Hatun show up to Speaker's Corner with? And they have to get it right. What are you saying? Talking trash about Mike Winger?
No, I'm saying Mike Winger has a video on all the motions that you make to have animations.
Oh, because since I said it was really lame and dorky. Let's see. And Mashir says, if only he was good as his speech abilities. Beast. Yeah, so I know next door to nothing about the political situations and stuff and what he's done outside of that. I know he seems like he's good at going after Hamas, and he is good at speaking. Beyond that, I do not know. And one more, and then we're going to be out. Tommy wants it spread far and wide. Yeah, that's good. We just do like, since that is all copyrighted content, we just like permission if we're going to be playing something that is produced as a movie. It's different when someone's posting, just a YouTube video or something like that. It's basically YouTube cracks down on content in different ways. Like if you play a few seconds of a song or a Hollywood movie or something like that, you just instantly get a copyright thing. You'll win it because it is fair use. You can use music and movie clips and all that stuff for fair use, but they're very quick to take it down and then say, prove that you have the right to use this, or that you've had permission to use this, or show us that it's fair use, and you actually have to get into this discussion behind the scenes. Anyway, just to avoid any sort of long drawn out thing, it's good to have official permission. So we try to get that for something like that. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we do not know what the near future holds as far as what we're doing, because we haven't figured out what we're doing tomorrow. Yeah. Are those your Hebrew flashcards?
I'm trying to read a comment here.
Oh, hey, he's reading a Hebrew comment, but he's actually got out his Hebrew flashcards.
I couldn't figure out what
so one of he's these... looking up, but you weren't going to let people know that you're cheating.
I couldn't figure out what one of these letters was, so I'm just looking at it. Yeah.
That's what AP does, ladies and gentlemen. Great job, guys. Yep, all right, guys, we'll keep you updated on what's going on. We will have some more content coming up. It's just we got a couple of things we're doing, and we're not sure exactly what tomorrow holds, but we'll let you know. And
tomorrow can't hold anything because tomorrow is a day.
You don't know anything. All right, AP, final words to everyone. What's your final advice? If these were your last 10 seconds of your entire life, your last dying message that you could share with the world, what would it be?
I like Nutella.
All right, you heard it here, folks. AP likes Nutella. Doesn't tell you that it's good, but he does like it. Catch you next time.